a player on his team. If you keep giving him the ball and he keeps on passing it back, you get fed up of giving him it. But when you give it him and he takes people on and he tries to play forward, I think that's a huge positive, and I think he's been a good addition to them.
I don't need to tell you that they're about to read out the Liverpool lineup. Just in front of me, I can see this huge banner with Mo Salah's face on in that sort of real picture pose celebration with his arms stretched out either side of him. As I was coming into Anfield tonight, there was a lone guitarist who was singing the song with the words are basically "You Are My Sunshine." It's that one. He was singing it about Mo Salah, and it just ended with the words, "Please don't take Mo Salah away." Well, you'll know it when they read his name out in a second, just how much he means to Liverpool. There's Luis Diaz, number 7, Diogo Jota, number 20, and then you'll get the roar for Mohamed Salah. It's just that little bit louder, Stephen.
Yeah, they adore him. They want him to stay. They're desperate for him to stay. I was watching him throughout the warm-up, Steve. His finishing was on point, and I'm thinking he looked happy, he looked fresh. I think there was a situation, especially over the last few weeks, where it's been Ramadan, and I think he looked a little bit fatigued in the way he was and the way he was playing. Now that he's back fully fit, you look at him tonight, he looks hungry and he looks ready to go. I think this will be an interesting one for him.
Yeah, I think so too, don't you? Because he was quiet in both legs against Paris Saint-Germain, and he was quiet in the Carabao Cup final as well. But there's been this break, although in saying that, when I looked at the newspaper this morning, there was another story there about Salah being, this was in the Daily Telegraph, in inverted commas, open to Saudi move. So that has reared its head again.
Let's just take you back to St James's Park, early stages. It's live on 5 Sports Extra, Newcastle, Brentford. John Bennett.
It's 0-0, but you can feel the confidence in the Newcastle players. Almost a perfect start. Alexander Isak with a header just wide. 0-0.
The old LA's around Anfield now. An absolute picture of flags away to our right-hand side. This got me thinking, Stephen. I don't know if you really knew or not when your last game at Anfield was, or when you were in the final stages of your time at Anfield. But right now, Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, they're about to merge in front of us into this incredible atmosphere that they've seen so many times. They may only have 5 more games, including tonight here at Anfield.
Yeah, you've got to embrace it, make the most of it, because as you say, we don't know what's going to happen to them players. They will know, though. They'll know what their choice is, whether they're going to stay or not, because essentially the money on offer will be enough. It'll be there. It's a choice of whether you feel wanted, whether you feel like you want to stay at this football club. I always thought there was an element, if Liverpool were to win the Premier League and the Champions League this year, what else was there to achieve, and would you have left on a high? I think they'll want to win one more Champions League here, I really do.
Do you think it's probably just as well Trent Alexander-Arnold is on the injury list tonight for this match, in the aftermath of everything?
No, I don't. I think he'd love to play in it and show his quality and silence a few critics within the crowd. I don't think there's many of them, to be honest, John. I think a lot of them are on social media, as they call keyboard warriors, if you like, and they're them type of people who aren't real fans. I think the most of the real fans will appreciate what he's done. I think he'd have got a tremendous reception tonight, I really do.
Well, that LA has just got a little bit louder, and the translation is really the message from Liverpool's fans to their players. LA, go, go, go. They want to get this league title wrapped up. Forget any fatigue that's come their way over the course of the last few weeks. They've got a 9-point lead with a game in hand. This Premier League surely looks like it's going to be Liverpool's, but they have to get themselves over that line. For Everton, their next 5 games are against the top 5, but it says everything about David Moyes' return that it just doesn't matter. They are free and clear. One more Liverpool banner away to the right-hand side simply says, we made this city, with the silhouettes of all their great trophies won over the years. Virgil van Dijk is standing in the tunnel underneath the banner that says, this is Anfield. Full commentary on 5 Sports Extra right now of Newcastle versus Brentford. Full commentary right now on the BBC Sport website and app. of Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 0. It's still Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0, Southampton 0, Crystal Palace 0. The only goal in the 7:45 so far. Manchester City leading Leicester by a goal to 0. It's also 0-0 in the 2 games in the EFL. Derby Preston in the Championship, Notts County MK Dons in League 2. And it's goalless in both games in the Scottish Championship. Dunfermline 0, Livingston 0, and Queen's Park 0, Airdrieonians 0. Here come the teams at Anfield for the Merseyside derby, live on 5 Live with Stephen Warnock and correspondent John Murray.
Well, thank you, Steve. And right up towards the back of the Kop to our right, we've got one of those accidentally on purpose inflammatory banners, which is very much directed Stephen Warnock at the Everton fans at the other side of the ground. A horizontal banner, red background, white writing, "We made this city," and at either side of that, an image of all of the various trophies that Liverpool have won over the years. That very much is for the visitors from across the park.
Oh, it certainly is. It's just telling them where they are, where Liverpool are at and where Everton are at as well. But from Everton's point of view, they won't care. They're here to upset this league title push, and if they can dent that tonight, they'll have done their job.
And just looking way down below, Arne Slot turns to his left and he sees David Moyes there. The two of them met less than 2 months ago at Goodison Park. What a night that was. But there is quite a warm handshake between the managers of Liverpool and Everton, and David Moyes, with his white tousled hair and his black anorak on, just turns and takes his seat. David Moyes, who it's been highlighted very much over the course of the last few days that David Moyes has never won here as a manager in 21 attempts, and it goes without saying that David Moyes would absolutely love to see that come to an end tonight. As Pat Nevin was saying earlier, it's an inevitability almost that Liverpool are going to win the title, but Everton would absolutely love to put a spanner in the spokes of Liverpool tonight. And just looking down to our left, as "You'll Never Walk Alone" rings around Anfield, the many Everton supporters have turned their backs on the pitch and are pointing and chanting up towards the Liverpool fans in the stand above them at the Anfield Road end, with all of their scarves raised high. Everton supporters trying to make themselves heard, but you can probably hear for yourself what is the dominant sound inside Anfield. So that is the sound ahead of what is the 246th Merseyside derby in all competitions. Liverpool on 70 points. Liverpool, who, once this match begins, will have a 9-point lead over Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table. And Everton, who are now a comfortable 17 points above the relegation zone. Liverpool's team tonight: Kelleher in goal, there's no Alisson. Jones at right back, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai, Salah, Jota and Diaz. And Everton with Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and the fit Mikalenko, Gay, Garner and Doucouré, Harrison, Alcaraz and Beto. Referee Sam Barrett blows the whistle, and it is Everton who kick off. And the ball is fired forward. Everton were raring to go on the halfway line when the match began, but now it breaks for Liverpool. And it's played by Jota. Out to Salah. Salah on the right-hand side, approaching the edge of the penalty area. On his left foot, in comes the challenge back from Doucouré. And it interrupts and stops Salah's progress. And Liverpool go all the way back towards the halfway line. So it is Liverpool against Everton on BBC Radio 5 Live. We do have a choice of listening because there are now 6 Premier League matches underway right now. Only 1 goal so far. Manchester City 1, Leicester 0, the early Grealish goal. But the Newcastle-Brentford match is on Sports Extra, and Bournemouth-Ipswich you can listen online. Here is Luis Diaz. Cross from the left-hand side. That's headed away by Branthwaite. Nodded back out to Luis Diaz. Corner of the box. O'Brien does well. Stands up strong against him. Diaz, though, gets the ball past him. Still Diaz into the penalty area. O'Brien with the channel, but the ball was out of play. I think O'Brien might have clipped Diaz. Took him down inside the box. It would have been a penalty, but the ball was already behind for a corner.
Yeah, really good spot from the assistant referee on the far side. He saw the ball had gone out of play, put his flag up straight away, alerted the referee. But what great play by Luis Diaz. Just caught O'Brien sleeping ever so slightly. Just saw a replay of it. Did the whole ball go out?
Well, that's the question. Were we looking directly along the line is another question, which is always the question with the issue of whether the ball went out or not, and whether it was a foul or not, I'm not sure. Here's the corner, in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's headed up and over. I think it might have been Konate who got his head to the ball, up and over, and then there's a little bit of pushing and shoving with Tarkowski as Konate gets to his feet and runs away to the halfway line.
Yeah, a little bit of afters between the two players, wasn't there? It's just as the ball goes in, you know Tarkowski's so strong, and then he just falls onto the ankle of Konate. He doesn't move, and Konate just reacts to the situation. Not too much in that at all.
0-0, Liverpool-Everton, and it's already quite spiky. Of course it is, as ball is lifted long and forward by Branthwaite. Bounces into the Liverpool right-back area where...
Oh, he's got a problem here, Konate.
Did
you see that, John?
Played it away. No, I didn't.
He just, as he played the ball, he rocked his ankles and then rocked his ankle and then just sort of stumbled to his feet again.
Kwanzaa is on the substitutes bench. Not involved at all tonight. Started the Carabao Cup final on a slot after that. That's the last time Liverpool played the Carabao Cup final. It's made just the one change to the starting lineup, and that is with Jones coming in at right back and Kwanzaa on the bench. Konate plays a long pass beyond Jota and through to Jordan Pickford, who is able to claim it, then launch one downfield for Beto to chase. Kelleher's out of the penalty area. A little bit of indecision between Kelleher and Van Dijk, and Van Dijk glares at Kelleher, who in the end just planted it out of play for a throw to Everton.
Yeah, I think he thought there was going to be a little bit more on the ball there, Kelleher, and it run through to him in the box. Van Dijk a little bit disappointed that he didn't just run it into his box, but don't take those chances early on in a Merseyside derby. But a great kick from Pickford.
Throw-in for Everton. Back it goes to the halfway line. David Moyes comes and stands in that black coat, swept back, hands in pockets. Long pass down the left-hand side, but Nikolenko can't keep that in. And off his head, straight out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Konate seems okay. Jones, with his left foot, clears. Gay's able to stab it forward for Everton. Now, Doucouré on the left-hand side. In comes the ball, but in fact the offside flag goes up, and it's, in any case, in the hands of goalkeeper Kelleher. So 0-0 it is. After Arsenal's win last night, the gap at the top is 9 points, so that means that that Liverpool are closing in on that record-equaling 20th league title. Could re-establish a 12-point lead at the top tonight, and they know that in the remainder of this season, if they win 16 more points, then that guarantees them the title. Long pass from Van Dijk. Luis Diaz, heavy touch off his knee, actually took the ball into the path of O'Brien, and then and then he's fallen awkwardly. Luis Diaz, as he tried to scramble and get to the ball that bounced off his knee. I don't know whether he's turned an ankle.
I think it is his ankle. I think you're right, John. I think as he takes the ball off his knee, it's a really poor touch, and then as he carries on forward, he just slips ever so slightly, and then he rocks his ankle. It looks a naughty one. It looks nasty. That left ankle. This is a worry for Liverpool. It's a worry for Luis Diaz. Everton will be really pleased if they see the back of him early doors.
Well, he's on his feet. He doesn't need medical treatment, and he is walking out of the penalty area, so I think he's going to be okay. It's a Liverpool throw. Straight to Southampton. Aaron Paul
outscored. Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0, and it's Paul Onuachu with a really big leaping header off the diagonal. Too hot to handle for Dean Henderson. He got a hand to it, not enough. It trickled into the back of the net. Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0.
And from Southampton to Bournemouth, Chris Wise.
Ipswich 0, Ipswich weathering quite heavy Bournemouth pressure, perhaps no surprise there. Dango Ouattara's fired a low ball across the 6-yard box, hooked over his own bar by Dara O'Shea. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 0.
As I say, the commentary on that match is available to listen to via the BBC Sport website and app. Still Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Brentford 0, and Manchester City leading through the early Grealish goal 1-0 against Leicester. No goals in the other matches, either in the Championship, League 2 or the Championship in Scotland. Liverpool 0, Everton 0 is also the score here in our main 5 live commentary match tonight. In fact, Adrionians are winning 1-0 at Queen's Park in the Championship in Scotland. Liverpool attacking towards the end where the Everton fans are. They've got half of the lower tier of the Anfield Road end, and there is not a seat to spare for this occasion. Here's Van Dijk to Luis Diaz. Seems okay after that twist of his ankle. Diaz goes for the early pass to Gravenberch. Gravenberch slips it across to Salah. Left-footed cross from the Premier League top scorer. That's headed away by Tarkowski. Comes back to Salah, drives it into Gay on the edge of the box. Comes back to Salah again. Salah now to Jones, but in slides Mykolenko. But Liverpool retain possession because the Mykolenko challenge just slid the ball to the feet of Salah. And Liverpool dominating possession inside the Everton half. David Moyes just turns away with something to say to, I think, Alan Irvine, as the ball comes into the Everton penalty area from the right, but Pickford's able just to move quickly to his left and pick it up. 0-0.
Yeah, they got themselves well organised, Everton out of possession. Idrissa Gana-Gueye sitting a little bit deeper, then James Garner's got Doucouré alongside him, then out of possession. He's got Doucouré pushed up front alongside Beto. And it's just allowing Everton out of possession to be very well organised and compact.
Stephen Warnock with us tonight, former Liverpool defender, former England defender, on this lovely early spring night here on Merseyside. A clear night, but there is a little bit of a chill. It's quite blustery as Everton, with Harrison into the box, challenged by Jones. But Alcaraz, I beg his pardon, into the box, takes on Jones, went tumbling down. But I have to say, there was no great protest from the Everton players out there.
No, there wasn't at all. I think from where we were looking, it was like Curtis Jones had a nibble and then decided against it at the last second.
Luis Diaz, now to Robertson on the left. Robertson's cross, though, hits Harrison. But then Robertson wins it back from Harrison. That was poor from the Everton man. Liverpool still with it, just outside the box. McAllister's flick, though, was also poor. And Doucouré was able to take it away, but in the challenge, he gives it back to Jota. Now here is McAllister. McAllister will have heard those groans all around Anfield from the Liverpool supporters. Groans and more, I think I heard from Liverpool supporters behind us. Up here, high in the stand on the main stand side of the ground. Liverpool with Gravenberch in the centre circle. Gravenberch forward towards McAllister. Luis Diaz is available right on the white line here. Diaz slips it forward. Jota's out towards the left-hand side. Jota just retains the ball, looks up, plays it back to McAllister. Square from him, Gravenberch. Everton having to work very hard without the ball here. It goes all the way over to the right-hand side. Curtis Jones is there. And then Jones, involved in both of England's matches against Albania and Latvia, started at one, came on as the substitute for the other, very much part of Thomas Tuchel's plans. Curtis Jones, then forward towards Szoboszlai, the Hungarian captain, his ball into the penalty area. That was cleared away by Gay, who was right in there tight on Salah. Liverpool again with Jones, 25 yards out over towards the right-hand side, gives it at close quarters to Salah. Salah comes infield, but then is forced by Mykolenko to turn it back out towards the right-hand side. This is absolutely classic David Moyes Everton football. They are very, very difficult to find a way through, but that's an excellent turn from Jota, but then a great block from Branthwaite, who was turned but threw himself in the way of the shot, and then Tarkowski slides in with a challenge. He went in with both feet, he cleared it away on the edge of the penalty area, but McAllister was also in there There was contact. He cleared the ball with force, but he caught McAllister as well. That's given us a free kick by referee Barrett and a yellow card for Tarkowski.
Yeah, well, the original block from Branthwaite is a superb block, but this challenge is nasty. It's really nasty from Tarkowski. He wins the ball, but then he follows through onto the shin of McAllister. McAllister's riding round on the floor. He's in agony, and I'm not surprised, because this is a really poor challenge from Tarkowski. He knows exactly what he's doing in this situation.
Well, VAR will be looking at this. I mean, it does look bad in slow motion, and it looks really bad in slow motion. And I mean, he's made strong contact with the ball. It's a defensive challenge at pace, but he's cleared the ball, and on the follow-through, catches McAllister. So yellow card is given. The question is, you know, as the referee is lining up the wall, so it looks as though there's going to be no further action to me.
Well, that's interesting, because one of the questions you're asking is, are you endangering a player? And he certainly is with that challenge. Is he out of control? Yes, he is. This is really lucky if Tarkowski gets away with this.
Check's complete. The check's complete. No serious foul play is the decision from the video assistant referee, who is Paul Tierney tonight. Well, that's debatable.
It's very debatable, and we've seen that many a time, haven't we? You think back of the Curtis Jones tackle away at Spurs, when he rolled over the top of the ball and he caught the player on the shin. He was sent off, and this was much more than that. I mean, this is a really nasty challenge. McAllister's still down. He's still feeling the effects of that challenge. It was really high up on the shin of McAllister.
The question is, you know, Tarkowski has to go for that ball at pace. He has to go for that at pace. He has to put everything into that, which he does, and then on the follow-through, catches McAllister. McAllister's coming across. The question is, you know, the VAR have looked at it, decided it's not serious foul play.
It's very interesting, John. I think it's so dangerous. I think it's out of control from Tarkowski, because he knows that he's going to follow through into the player, but it's how high he follows through. So he kicks the ball, which is on the floor, and then he continues his foot to carry up into the shin of McAllister. He's lucky to be up. He really is. He's furious. He's looking at the referee, McAllister, as if to say, are you sure you want to give the yellow card for this foul? Look at my shin. He's now pointing his shin to the referee.
Well, we also, on the touchline, Arne Slot has seen pictures of it down on the touchline. He's been walking around shaking his head. Only a yellow card for James Tarkowski. Tarkowski, who was the key figure right at the end of that Goodison Park derby match, the final derby at Goodison, when he scored in the 8th minute of added time. And here, that challenge in, what, 11th, 12th minute, that could easily have been a red card for the Everton man here at Anfield. I notice the camera's also focused in on Stephen Gerrard, who's here tonight. No stranger to a red card in a Merseyside derby himself. But a free kick, and this is in a good position. It's a couple of strides outside the box. Left of centre. Salah and Szoboszlai are the two Liverpool players who are there. Four-man Everton wall. There's a man lying down behind it as well. Szoboszlai it is. Right-footed curling it! Just over the angle of post and bar. Pickford chased after it. Looked casual, looked as though he was confident it was going wide, which it was.
Yeah, it's almost that knuckleball effect that he tries on the free kick. Szoboszlai, no Trent Alexander-Arnold, so it's now over to him and Mohamed Salah on the free kicks. He wasn't far off, but Pickford seemed very confident, didn't he, John?
He did. Queen's Park 0, Adrionians 2 now. That's bottom of the table, Adrionians, in the Championship. In the Premier League, Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 0, Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0. Back to Manchester City, Julia Bold.
It's now Manchester City 2, Leicester 0. Omar Mamouche stepping in for Erling Haaland. He has put them 2 goals ahead. Leicester are really struggling. Man City 2, Leicester 0.
Still Newcastle 0, Brentford 0. So no Haaland tonight, but Manchester City already 2-0 up. Still Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0. And we're going to go to Brighton and James Gregg.
Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0. Villa have had 4 or 5 good looks at goal. Rashford at pace, cutting in from the left, and Cash grazing the crossbar with a lovely half volley. Brighton starting, though, just to get their teeth into this game. Super game to watch, John, but with half an hour gone, it's Brighton 0, Villa 0.
Well, I think here at Anfield, it's fair to say that the The red touch paper has been lit by that challenge from Tarkowski. It's added to the already lively atmosphere inside Anfield. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, every time that Everton get the ball now, there's boos ringing round. I think a lot of people now have got access to the pictures. They'll be looking over social media. Liverpool fans will be bitterly disappointed that they haven't seen a red card for Tarkowski.
And it's Tarkowski who is being booed as the ball is played up to Doucouré, who was challenged by Van Dijk. Doucouré ended up on the ground, and then Luis Diaz dispossessed forward from Ghana. Now Beto on the edge of the box. Harrison here on the right-hand side for Everton, attacking towards the Kop, but the cross is blocked by the outstretched leg of Robertson. Out of play, throwing to Everton. Way down below us. Jack Harrison on loan this season. There's a number of players, obviously their loan periods will be coming to an end. Alcaraz is another one on the other flank. In fact, there are 13 players at Everton in the setup whose contracts, either permanently or on a loan basis, will be coming to an end at the end of the season. Throw-in is being left to Ghana, who I think has been excellent since he's come back. Missed the early part of the season through injury. Ghana with a long throw into the box. It's bounced a long way. Alcaraz, left foot shot, blocked by Konate, and Jones comes back to Alcaraz. His cross then is blocked by Konate. Then a right-footed ball in from Alcaraz from the left flank, but that's blocked away from Liverpool as well. Well, it opened up there for Alcaraz, but there were two Liverpool defenders in the way.
Yeah, super throw from James Garner, so difficult. He missed out Van Dijk, he left it in a dangerous area. Konate didn't want to go and head it. And then at the back post, as you say, Alcaraz gets a shot away. A great block from Curtis Jones.
Remember, this is Liverpool's first match since the cup final. The first time since they lost twice in the space of 6 days to go out of the Champions League. That penalty shootout here at Anfield against PSG, and then obviously the cup final, the Carabao Cup final at Wembley against Newcastle. And Everton on the back foot here. Jota is challenged by Gay. Jota goes down. That's no free kick, says referee Barrett. And again, there's a chorus of whistles and boos in reaction to that. No free kick.
Well, if you don't think it's a free kick, book him for simulation. That's my thing. He's not going to go down if he doesn't need to. So you either book him or you give the free kick.
Notice in the French Cup semi-final tonight, the other semi-final, Reims are winning 1-0 against Cannes. Did you see what happened to PSG last night as the ball's played forward to Gravenberch inside the penalty area? Goes round Gay, who just got a toe in on that and puts it behind for a Liverpool corner from the right-hand side.
Yeah, they won 4-2, was it, John?
They were 2-0 down to Dunkirk.
Yeah, I did see. I saw it was 4-2 in the end, though. Big result for them.
Yes, it was. And next week, you'll be able to hear how Aston Villa get on against PSG. All of those Champions League quarter-finals, 5 Live, the place to listen to them. Aston Villa, PSG will be in Paris with them next week, and also Arsenal against the holders Real Madrid. Corner to Liverpool, knocked out by PSG. Corner to be taken from the right-hand side into the edge of the 6-yard box, takes a deflection up in the air, stretch away from Branthwaite, then a touch off Salah, but that just bounces through for Pickford, who's able to take that quite comfortably, and Everton deal with the set piece.
Yeah, nearly 20 minutes on the clock, and I think Everton will be very happy with the way things have gone so far. They've been quietly confident in the way that they've gone about the business, organised, making it tough for Liverpool to play through them. That's a lovely ball from Tarkowski.
Tarkowski forward to Beto. Beto away from Van Dijk. Oh, he's forced it under Callagher, but the offside flag is up. The ball in the net. The man who scored the opening goal in the derby at Goodison 7 weeks ago thought that he scored the opening goal at Anfield, but the flag was very quickly up as the ball hit the back of the net.
Yeah, he goes about half a yard too early, Beto, but I tell you what, it wasn't very comfortable or confident from Virgil van Dijk. He got muscled off the ball. Van Dijk wasn't too sure whether he was onside or offside. Beto got the wrong side of him and then slotted it through the legs of Kelleher, but he spared his blushes, Van Dijk, with the offside flag. They are still looking at it.
They're still looking at it, so we'll go to Bournemouth, Ipswich. Chris Wise. 2
of the Premier League's bottom 3 sides are winning because it's Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1. Nathan Broadhead, his first Premier League goal made by Enciso. Broadhead took a touch in the box, sat down Housen and tucked it into the corner. Massive goal for Ipswich. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1.
Still looking at this offside.
This is closer than you think, John.
It is closer than you think, isn't it?
Yeah, because Van Dijk's just leaning towards towards the goal, and Beto's a little bit more upright in the way that he's running, so this will be very, very close.
Or shall I say it's closer than we initially thought. So this could be... Beto is waiting here. He is a man transformed.
Offside.
But the offside is given. It was tight-ish. Van Dijk takes the ball, puts his palms apart, as if to say, why did we have to have such a long wait for that to happen?
Because it was closer than you thought.
It was closer than we initially thought. A couple of weeks' time, Stephen, semi-automated offside.
Yeah, 16th of April, is it?
We'll be here in the Premier League. We're going to be told all about it later this week. As Everton go back towards the edge of their own box, Tarkowski back to Pickford, and you can hear the reaction of the Liverpool supporters. You know, tonight really for Liverpool, obviously first and foremost to win this match, but I think also tonight performance as well, as Doucouré strong on the edge of the Liverpool box, but Jones did well, actually came across from his right back position, just took the ball away in Liverpool, up to Diaz. As ever, as so very often you'll have played in these matches, Stephen, a Merseyside derby, what have we had? Almost a quarter of the match, and really clear goal scoring opportunities. I know that had the ball in the net just now, Everton, but from an offside position.
Yeah, but John, I think the crowd reaction tells you everything about how this game is going for Liverpool and how well it's going for Everton.
Yeah, there's Beto, the number 14, the joint top scorer, and Giai's on the bench as well as he comes back tonight. As Everton swing the ball in from the left-hand side, Mikalenko. Van Dijk got his head to that. Then a challenge by Garner on Robertson, landed on top of him, and that's a free kick to Liverpool in their own left-back position. Arne Slot looks a little frustrated as well. I think you can tell that from his body language. Walked onto the pitch there and swept the ball away. Just picked it back into the left-back area, where Liverpool will have this free kick. One match in League Two tonight. Naz Premji.
Notts County 0, MK Dons 0. Notts County doing all of the pressing. David McGoldrick with a couple of chances, one from close range straight at Truman, another free kick which was low into the wall. Notts County 0, MK Dons 0.
I suppose in many ways the scoreline of the night is the fact that Southampton are winning. Is that still the case, Aaron Paul?
Just Aaron Ramsdale with a fantastic save to palm away an effort from Jean-Philippe Mateta and just claim it in with a Palace player lurking. But this game's been in a bit of a slumber since that fantastic Paul Anuachu header that has put the Saints ahead, with ironic cheers of "We are staying up" coming from three sides of St Mary's. Palace on the attack through Elise, but it is Southampton who have the lead here by goal tonight.
So this is 5 Live, BBC Sounds on this busy football night. Here's Luis Diaz, 0-0 at Anfield. Diaz runs across the corner of the penalty area and then plays it back to Robertson. The big talking point, if you've just joined us on 5 Live, half the first half played, whether Tarkowski should have been sent off. Diaz taking on O'Brien, who tackled back well, got a foot in on the cross and put it behind for a Liverpool corner. Liverpool corner, McAllister coming across to take this. The PGMOL have said, Stephen, that the referee gave a yellow card to Tarkowski for the on-field challenge for a reckless follow-through. VAR looked at it, agreed it was reckless, but that Tarkowski had played the ball and decided to stick with the on-field decision. So that's the post that has been put out by PGMOL. Corner for Liverpool. Your right-footed in-swinger from the Argentine, McAllister. It's a deep one, Pickford comes. Oh, that's a weak punch, but he got enough on it to find Alcaraz, and now Alcaraz taking the ball forward, might have been tugged back. He was tugged back. Referee gives the free kick. More red groans inside Anfield.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool were questioned about their ability to want the game against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final and didn't want it enough, and this is the feeling that you're sort of getting tonight, that it's a slow start from Liverpool. They don't look at the races at all, but that's all down to Everton's pressing and desire to get in the faces and make life difficult for them.
Yes, that was said as the Everton free kick drifts over O'Brien's head and it's out of play for a throw into Liverpool. I don't know about you, I felt that match came at exactly the right time for Newcastle and exactly the wrong time for Liverpool.
Yeah, but there's no excuses tonight, John. He said they were well rested. We spoke before, Steve was talking to Pat Nevin as well, and we said, well, we'll only find out tonight whether they're well rested. At the moment, they need to wake up Liverpool, but Everton have been excellent so far in the way that they've nullified everything that Liverpool have tried.
Liverpool, this is their 30th Premier League match of the season, and they come in tonight with this 9-point lead at the top of the table, still 0-0. And here is Salah, Mo Salah, 32 goals this season, 27 in the Premier League. The Premier League's top scorer, and with Haaland out for this spell, will probably be the top scorer in the Premier League this season. Here's Diaz now. Diaz taking on O'Brien. He's done so well under David Moyes in the right back position, but Diaz does get the cross in deep over Salah. Jones is going to keep it in over there on the far side in the full back position, runs away now back towards the halfway line, back to Gravenberch. I know some Liverpool supporters did wonder whether Endo might have been chosen tonight instead of Gravenberch, who didn't go away with the Netherlands side during the international window. Van Dijk is just impeded by Beto, and actually he almost gave that free kick himself. Van Dijk ran past Beto and then just stopped running after he was checked, and the free kick was given. Luis Diaz back to Gravenberch. Gravenberch turns to his right, then turns to his left. Van Dijk is still there. Here's the pass to Robertson. Oh, lovely ball into Jota in the box. The cut back, that was blocked. Back to Jota. Jota drives it across the face of goal, but beyond the top of the far post and into the Liverpool fans over there in the lower tier of the Anfield Road end.
Yeah, it's a really nice play from Andy Robertson as he slides the ball down the left-hand side into Diogo Jota, and he tries to pull the ball back. I'm thinking just pass it along the 6-yard box. You've got two players waiting for the ball, waiting for a simple tap in. Pulled it back into the Everton players, and it was a wasted opportunity.
You heard the reasoning from PGMOL, Stephen. Here's Gravenberch. He's got some space here, and he's able to take it on down the right-hand side, but then actually turns, and you can hear the reaction again. Liverpool want their team to attack. I thought he was in a position there perhaps to go on, but Luis Diaz now on the left-hand side lifts it in nicely towards the back. Salah with a header, but straight at Pickford, who had got quickly across, and the Salah header was straight at the Everton goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a lovely flighted ball into that back post area from Diaz. And Curtis Jones, who's playing at right back, he wanders into the middle of the pitch inside Salah, and it just takes the attention of Mykolenko, and Salah finds himself free at that back post. Just can't get the power on the header. Comfortable save for Pickford.
Liverpool, Jones and Konate contrived to lose
there we
the
go,
ball. It's bounced out of play, and it bounced off the field, and just as Konate was about to pick it up, Beto, who'd run off the field with him, kicked the ball away from him. Konate immediately appealed to the referee, who produced the yellow card for Beto for delaying the restart. Now Diaz down the left-hand side. O'Brien challenge. Diaz tumbles to the ground. The ball runs through for what is given as a goal kick, and that's it.
Well, he's finding this difficult, the referee, Sam Barrett. He really is, because that's a foul. That is a foul on Luis Diaz. He shows the ball to O'Brien. O'Brien steps across his line, takes him out. And just going back to your question, John, about the VAR decision and the PGMOL's comments, what they didn't take into consideration or talk about was the follow-through and whether it was excessive and whether it was endangering a player. Well, it did. It ticked those boxes, so I think they've got it wrong.
Well, it's a huge debating point. You can see it tonight on Match of the Day if you haven't seen it already. BBC One Match of the Day tonight. Micah Richards and Joe Hart will be with Kelly Summers, actually, tonight, presenting Match of the Day. And this is a test for Arne Slot after he's shown the red card in Goodison. He said in the future he would keep his cool. Well, he's being tested tonight with the decisions that have gone against Liverpool and in favour of David Moyes and Everton. Still 0-0. Here's Diaz again. Diaz stabs it infield towards McAllister. Then back forward to the centre circle to Gravenberch. Rolls it out to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai goes for an early ball into the box over McAllister. Tarkowski was there to head it away. And then Mykolenko just to touch on his head. Out of play for a throw-in down the right-hand side. The other matches tonight, still Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1. Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 2, Leicester 0, Newcastle 0, Brentford 0, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0. And let's go to Brighton. James Gregg.
Yassin Ayari just had Emi Martinez well beaten. In-swinging free kick, 25 yards out, dipping, curling, but plumb into the left-hand post of the big Argentine goalkeeper. It's Brighton's best chance so far, just before half-time. It's still goalless here at the Amex between Brighton and Aston Villa.
Spell of Liverpool possession comes to nothing, but they win it back on the halfway line. Now here's Salah again. Salah still going. Alcaraz is back in there, but Gay's in there as well. And the two Everton men are able to dispossess Liverpool number 11. And up it goes towards Beto near the halfway line. Harrison is shrugged off the ball by Luis Diaz. Too easily that, really, from an Everton point of view. Diaz, then back to Robertson. Robertson infield to Gravenberch. Would go to St James's Park when we get a chance, but Liverpool launching an attack here. I see Dunfermline, Neil Lennon's Dunfermline are 1-0 up on Livingston. Now Salah's ball in towards the edge of the box. Jones was there, but well defended by Garner, and Everton should clear this, Garner still hasn't got it away. Long left-footed ball, but straight into the path of Konate, who will go back to Kelleher. So to Tyneside then, and John Bennett.
Newcastle 0, Brentford 0, but a goal disallowed for Newcastle. Alexander Isak with a brilliant run, twisting and turning, played it to Harvey Barnes in the box, but he was just offside. 0-0.
And Adrionians are now winning 3-0 at Queen's Park. Everton get the ball back on the edge of their own box, but Gay's pass hit the back of the heels of Doucouré, so Liverpool with Gravenberch, 1-2, Gravenberch, but then Jota takes it over, gives it to Luis Diaz, who shot, hits O'Brien, bounces back at Luis Diaz. I think Jordan Pickford was already diving for that, but it deflected off the Everton defender. Back to Luis Diaz, now Gravenberch, lovely weaving run into the box, beat a couple of men, but then couldn't get past the third, and Everton clear it towards the halfway line. One pass here for Everton, and it could be a chance through the middle for Beto. Oh, that's missed by Van Dijk. Beto's clean through. Oh, he's hit the post. The shot beat Kelleher, but struck the upright. What a chance for Everton. Beto getting the better of a stumbling Van Dijk, but Beto couldn't finish.
Simple ball, and Liverpool caught all over the place. Van Dijk looks at 6s and 7s. I've never seen him look so ruffled in a game, and he lashes at the ball. Beto, he should do better. He should put Everton 1-0 up. Big opportunity, but the Liverpool fans are furious. The tempo in which they're playing at, the opportunities that they're giving Everton, they're simply saying this is not good enough. But credit to Everton, they're making Liverpool not good enough.
What a chance for Beto. I thought for all the world, it seemed he did everything right, struck it well, but just inches away. Maybe 3 inches to the right, that would have been 1-0 to Everton, but hits the post. And Beto running Van Dijk ragged. Who on earth would have thought of that maybe 2 months ago? Yeah. But that's what we're seeing.
He just looks so composed usually, Van Dijk, but it's the occasion when Beto had a goal disallowed, he got caught on the wrong side, he got out-muscled by Beto, and this time I've never seen him lash at a ball like that. Usually he uses his upper body and muscles people out the way or steps across them, but he's not looked comfortable tonight, Van Dijk.
Straight to Newcastle, John Bennett.
Goal just before half-time for Newcastle. 20 Premier League goals this season for Alexander Isak. Cross by Murphy, and Burmo was marking him but slipped. Isak found the back of the net. In fact, the half-time whistle has just gone. Brentford did well in that first half, but it's Newcastle 1, Brentford 0.
Luis Diaz's ball into the box, but a diving Szoboszlai couldn't make contact, and it curls beyond him and through for a goal kick. The half-time whistle's going in the 7:45 kickoffs. The defending champions comfortable with you, Julia Bold.
Yes, Manchester City 2, Leicester 0 at the break. Jack Grealish on 2 minutes, getting on into Savinho's right-hand cross to put them in front. 29 minutes though, Mads Hermansen tried to catch the ball and he dropped it. Omar Mamouche pounced, he looked devastated. Manchester City 2, Leicester 0.
Here's another Egyptian on the edge of the penalty area, but it bounces over Salah, and therefore Mikalenko is able to turn and clear it. Half-time as well at Bournemouth. Chris Wise, Ipswich winning.
Yes, they are, and for the first time this might be a win for Ipswich in the league in 2025. Nathan Broadhead's got the goal, his first for the Welshman in the Premier League. A very cool finish as well. They've settled nicely into this game, Kieran McKenna's team, and Bournemouth just not cutting through with their usual menace. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1.
No, Ipswich winning, and with even greater surprise in the voice, Southampton winning. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0. The home side ahead and trying to barricade the door with relegation looming. The game's only goals come from Paul Onuachu, who towered home a header from a diagonal from Fernandes. Henderson got a hand to it, but was too strong for the England goalkeeper. John-Philip Mateta has been Palace's best outlet, smashing the crossbar with one and forcing a decent save from Ramsdale with the other. Otherwise, pretty bland, John. Southampton 1, Palace 0.
One match in the Championship tonight. Derby, Preston after... We had an excellent afternoon at Deepdale on Sunday. What's happening tonight, Sarah Mulkerrins?
Goalless at the break, John. A poor first half, really, as Mayachi should have done better for Preston. Pounced on a poor back pass, drove it low, though, into the hands of the keeper. One chance the other end. Arna's flicked effort across the face of goal. And remember, a win for Derby tonight would move them out of the relegation zone, but the two teams have offered very little. It's Derby 0, Preston 0.
To Meadow Lane in a moment, but Liverpool on the attack. It's 0-0 here at Anfield. All of that spring daylight has finally gone now. We can see the lights illuminating the name of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand right opposite us, shining out brightly in red. And Liverpool with McAllister, who is in danger of losing possession. In fact, he's fouled. I thought Van Dijk picked that ball up before the free kick had been given there. But it is a free kick to Liverpool. I'm not sure you can do that.
No, he had already signalled for the foul. Yeah, he had, John.
Didn't hear the whistle.
Yeah, but Liverpool are so slow in what they're doing. The midfield of Liverpool in McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch have been average at best. They're so laboured on the ball, it's got to be quicker. There's a lack of ideas, a lack of understanding of what they're trying to do at the moment, and everything is so central for Liverpool. It's so easy to defend for Everton. There's another poor ball again, capitalised on by Everton.
Yeah, the big talking point is whether Tarkowski should have been sent off. Everton break forward again. They are bright here. Alcaraz forward to Doucouré, and now into the box with Harrison, but Van Dijk comes across, gets a touch on it, back onto Harrison, and then Harrison goes down. Might have been hands on the back. Ball's out of play. Throw-in only given to Liverpool. Thought that might have been a free kick too for Everton this time.
He looks shattered, Van Dijk. He really does. He can't get across. I've never seen him look like that. This is poor from Liverpool, though.
Here's Curtis Jones, still 0-0. Salah running at Mykolenko, but Mykolenko comes across and blocks it behind for a corner from the right. Yeah, Liverpool, we know what happened, didn't we, in Paris that night. Even though Liverpool won it, you know, that was not the best performance from Liverpool by any means. Then came back, had that, for a large part, less than convincing win against Southampton, then the second leg against PSG, then the disappointment in the Carabao Cup final, and now here tonight, also not firing on all cylinders. But it is still 0-0, and they still have that big lead at the top of the table. Corner from the right, Liverpool's fourth corner of the first half. To be delivered, outswinger, right foot, headed away though by Tarkowski. Got up commandingly, headed it away, blue shirts above red. In it comes again into the Everton box, taken down by Alcaraz, who's able to take it down and clear it away. Bounces off Beto. Beto should have scored for Everton, hit the post, but then Gravenberch drives a pass forward straight back to Beto, who was able to play it back to the edge of the box. Jota was almost onto that. Tarkowski just about dealt with it. He was able to get his feet sorted out, just take a step back and allow the ball to run into his body and clear it away, but Jota was almost in there. That's not Beto's speciality, passing back to his goalkeeper, as it's flicked forward by Doucouré and then cleared out of play by Konate for a throw-in to Everton down the right. Half-time now at Brighton. James Gregg.
Brighton 0, Villa 0. Villa have been the better side, more chances as well. Rashford so impressive down the left and through the middle as well, been cutting inside, as is Ramsey, who's doing much of the same. Lots of tests for Mark Verbruggen to think about, but it's either, you know, it's been a fairly end-to-end affair. Mitoma, Adringra, both trying to really give the home side some oomph. It's worked in patches, but the only real test for Martinez in the Villa net is that free kick from Ayari that had him beaten but struck the post. Brighton 0, Villa 0 at half-time.
Everton in the Liverpool box. Doucouré trying to find a way through. Garner drives it across, but straight into Robertson. The two of them come together, and there's a little bit of a bouncing of bodies between Garner and Robertson. Just a tiny little bit of afters, And Sam Barrett, the referee, comes across and speaks to Garner. Corner Everton, there first. Harrison waiting to take this in front of the Kop. 5 minutes of the first half to go. 5 live on BBC Sounds, live from Anfield. Harrison, referee, is just still speaking to McAllister and Alcaraz. Alcaraz, who's kind of hanging his head. The two Argentines together.
Well, what's interesting here is look at the position of Branthwaite and Tarkowski, the two best headers of the ball, and then they've crowded around the goalkeeper, Everton.
Yeah, and the two of them make the run, Tarkowski and Branthwaite. In comes the corner from Harrison to the back post, headed across by Alcaraz, but it was sort of loopy header. Easy catch for Kelleher. Kelleher is able to underarm it out to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai stabs it past Harrison. Luis Diaz had to wait for it to come, and therefore there were two Everton players on him, but he does well. Luis Diaz comes out with the ball, runs at the packed Everton defence, into the D, then turns, ball to Salah, inside the box on the right, left-footed cross, bounces down, hits Branthwaite, and is cleared away by Everton out of play.
Whoa, what was O'Brien doing there? He must have got a shout, because he just left it and it hit the shin of Branthwaite and just dropped down, and the Everton players were able to clear it. But Liverpool looked leggy going forward, so quick on the counter-attack usually. Credit to Everton, they were back in quick speed, making sure that they got back into positions, nullified that threat.
We will go to Meadow Lane in a moment, but Liverpool in possession inside the Everton half. Still goalless here. Certainly big debate going on wherever Everton and Liverpool fans are on whether Tarkowski should have been sent off round about the 11th, 12th minute, I think it was, when he put the challenge in on McAllister, just on the edge of the Everton penalty area. Only a yellow card. Liverpool continue to attack with Salah. Here's Gravenberch. Gravenberch swirls one in. It's gone all the way to the back post. It hits Harrison, bounces down, and then Robertson's shot on the turn gets that all wrong and slices it up wide, high, behind, into the Liverpool fans. That's the biggest moment of panic in the Everton penalty area.
Yeah, it was an incredible ball in from Gravenberch as he swung it into the area. It was so difficult to deal with, and Tarkowski just gets a toe end on it. He takes it away from Diogo Jota. Outstanding defending. But then as Robertson gets the ball, he turns, he swivels, he shoots. But that was the lack of composure, and that sums up Liverpool's performance in this first half so far.
Liverpool 0, Everton 0. And to prove that everything comes to those who wait, here's Naz Premji at Meadow Lane.
Notts County 0, MK Dons 0. Home side on top here, John. Couple of chances for David McGoldrick. The visitors looking to catch County on the break, but nothing of note from them so far. Notts County 0, MK Dons 0.
Half-time here, just a couple of minutes away. David Moyes just moving from foot to foot on the side of the pitch. Never won at Anfield as a manager. He's been trying since 2002. Lost all 7 visits with West Ham. He's lost his last 9 matches here as a manager. But they're very much in this, Everton. And this performance tonight has typified what we've seen from Everton so far under David Moyes' second coming as their manager. There's plenty of spirit, and as I've said before, I think I said it when I was at Selhurst Park watching them win there, it's almost, if ever there was a back four designed for David Moyes, this is it. Here's Tarkowski playing the ball back under pressure from Jota to Pickford. Pickford clears as Jota closes him down. Now Jones, back to Gravenberch, half-time approaching.
Too slow, far too slow from Gravenberch. I mean, you can tell he's lacking confidence here.
Yeah, he's not been... He was brilliant for the first 2/3 of the season. Gravenberch is one of Liverpool's player of the season. Salah, ball into the penalty area, that's played back. Then the shot from Gravenberch is deflected off Tarkowski. Unfortunately for Everton, deflected straight at where Pickford was standing, and he was able to catch the ball just above his left shoulder.
Yeah, nice little layoff from Curtis Jones. I don't think it was going in. I think it would have been dragged wide from Gravenberch. It wasn't the greatest of strikes from him, but it's just so slow in that midfield area from Liverpool. Everton can allowed to get back, allowed to get into shape, be comfortable.
Long one through the middle, but it comes off the head of Doucouré and bounces all the way through to Kelleher. Liverpool 0, Everton 0.
There's been an interesting physical battle in this game, and Everton have been rough with the way that they've gone about this game, and they've been physical with the Liverpool players. Liverpool players haven't liked it at all. If I was in the Everton changing room, I'd be made up.
4 minutes of added time. Robertson playing the ball into the legs of Harrison, and it bounces straight through and behind for a Liverpool corner, their 5th of the first half. So chance here again with the set piece, but Everton, they know their roles here, don't they? And see Van Dijk just arriving near the penalty spot, Konate as well. Curtis Jones is just behind them. So here is the delivery from the left-hand side. McAllister, Pickford comes, gets a good left-fisted punch on that. Out to Idrissa Gueye, and then he nods it down. Alcaraz takes it forward, but the pass bounces back from Beto to Alcaraz, who's able to find the ball behind Harrison here, 25 yards out. Harrison then curls it in. Alcaraz challenging. Beto swings a leg at it, but it was being caught, the ball, by Kelleher. And the swing from Beto just made contact with the Liverpool goalkeeper.
Yeah, well, where does that all come from? A desire on the edge of the penalty box to win the ball. Idrissa Gueye goes into a challenge with Gravenberch, and Gravenberch doesn't fancy it at all. He loses it second best, and then Everton break, and they dominate in the way that they go forward. Too strong for Liverpool at the moment in terms of physicality. What they're lacking in quality, they're making up for on the other side of the game.
So half-time in those other Premier League matches tonight. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1, Brighton 0, Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 2, Leicester 0, Newcastle 1, Brentford 0, Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0, and we'll have more on all of those at half-time. As Everton with
too soft again.
Doucouré wins it against Luis Diaz. Long pass forward for Beto. It's Beto against Konate this time. He's all on his own, Beto. He's got support now. Alcaraz arriving, shoots, it's deflected, but up and well over the top of the crossbar, drops down behind the Liverpool goal. But it is a corner to Everton in added time.
Yeah, too busy moaning about the free kick on Luis Diaz. It's not a free kick, it's just too soft, too weak. Doesn't want to hold the ball, want to hold the player off. He's waiting for the tiniest little bit of contact and then wanting to go to ground. Everton don't care, they spin that ball in behind. A simple straight ball in behind to Beto as well. And it's caused Van Dijk and Konate so many problems.
Yes, I think in the home sections there are definitely jitters. Harrison with the corner for Everton at the Kop end. A high, deep one towards the back post, looking for Branthwaite. It's headed out by Liverpool, though. Alcaraz takes it down. Alcaraz then back to Idrissa Gueye. He was fouled by Jota. He complains about it, gets up, complains to the referee. But he caught him, fouled him. It's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, nice footwork from Idrissa Gueye. Just steps inside. Jota catches him. This is a dangerous situation now for Liverpool to defend. Everton, they've got that height, got that ability on the free kick now, the quality to deliver the ball into a dangerous area.
0-0. Liverpool, who've lost precisely one of their last 24 Premier League home matches against Everton, and that was behind closed doors. Was that you and I at that one when Everton won 2-0? Richarlison scored,
so.
Sigurdsson penalty. To be honest, during COVID times, a lot of it has disappeared from my memory banks. Free kick to Everton here. So the previous win before that was 1999. Harrison swings this in. Alcaraz with a chance, but headed it wide, and there might have been better options behind him. Branthwaite was coming in, and in fact Branthwaite has ended up in the back of the net with his hands on his head, as if to say, if Alcaraz had left that, I'd have buried it. But that's the half-time whistle. That Everton chance is gone. It's 0-0. Liverpool fans and Everton fans, wherever you are, I am absolutely certain you'll be discussing that challenge from Tarkowski on McAllister, whether it should have been a red card, a yellow card. But Beto had that big chance when he was through, beat Van Dijk, hit the post. What do you think, Stephen Warnock?
Well, I think Liverpool are lucky to go in at 0-0. I think that chance at the end there, I think Alcaraz should score it. Beto should score the opportunity that he gets. Liverpool can't get much worse. Everton, really positive performance, really organised in the way that they've played, and they've created opportunities. It's been an interesting game to watch and analyse.
So Liverpool 0, Everton 0 here at Anfield at the break. And just a couple of seats to my right is Steve Crossman.
That's the biggest build-up I've ever had, John. Thanks very much. There's a lot to get into there. I'm conscious you two will need a break, so we'll try and wrap it up as quickly as possible. But goodness me, I mean, firstly, so the red card, Stephen, right? So just a reminder of what we've had from the powers that be. Referee gave a yellow card on field for a reckless follow-through. This is James Tarkowski on Alexis McAllister. VAR looked at it and agreed it was reckless, but he'd played the ball and decided to stick with the on-field decision. So if you take that and compare it to the guidance on VAR when it comes to challenges when a player has played the ball, it effectively comes down to, is the challenge clearly reckless, which would be a yellow card, or does it involve excessive force, which would be a red card? Surely that involved excessive force, didn't it?
I thought it did. I really did. I think he's so lucky, Tarkowski, to get away with that. It's the follow-through. It's the aggression in knowing that he's going to win that ball, but he's also going to take the man as well. The game's changed. The game's changed from when I played it. You would have got away with that. That would have been absolutely fine, but not in today's game. Not one bit. I mean, that is it's a really dangerous challenge. I mean, what would have sufficed given a red card? McAllister leaving the pitch? Would that have given a red card then? Or was it the 6 studs down his shin aren't enough to prove that that's a dangerous challenge?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great at normal speed. It looks terrible on a slow motion, really bad. But of course, the officials are told to be wary of the fact that very often challenges look worse in slow motion. Sam Barrett, I've just checked, this is his 19th Premier League game of the season. He's not shown a red card in any match. And as I said at the time, I do think there is a counter to say that Tarkowski had to go for that challenge with force. Don't you think, as a defender?
Yeah, there's force, but there's been an aggressive force in the way that you follow through. That was making sure that you take the man after it as well. I don't think that McAllister was that close to him to make him think, I've got to get that. When you actually watch the challenge back again, I'd say McAllister is probably 3 yards away from him. It's not like me and you are shoulder to shoulder now, and if I wanted to go in forcefully, I wouldn't hurt you. But if you're stood 3-4 yards away from me and I throw myself into you, then I'm travelling at a distance which is going to effectively hurt you if you're stood still in a stationary position. So for me, I think that is I understand what you're saying. You want to go in with aggression and be strong in the challenge, but that was over the top.
I feel like we'll have lots more time to discuss that at full time, because it is inevitably going to have an impact on what we see in the second half. In terms of other stuff though, Stephen, I mean, Beto is playing Virgil van Dijk so well, and yet he is not a good one-on-one finisher, is he? It's not the first time we've seen him miss big chances like that.
No, too much time to think, and he's an instinctive striker. He's one of those, if he doesn't have time to think about it, it becomes a little bit more easy when he goes through. There's always a feeling that, is he going to score? Probably not. You have that sense with him, but the way he's played, his hold-up play, the way he's played on the shoulder of Van Dijk and Konate, but he is physical, he's strong, and he's used that today. So often you'd think, well, that's Konate and Van Dijk's game. He's been stronger than the pair of them.
Stephen, John, thank you very much for the time being. So, second half commentary to come. Liverpool 0, Everton 0. Very, very controversial moment in that first half when James Tarkowski was given a yellow card. VAR review was not upgraded to a red. In the Premier League, goal at Brighton, James Gregg.
Yes, it's Brighton 0, Villa 1. Marcus Rashford has opened the scoring here. Great vision from Emi Martinez. A long ball up to the Aston Villa man, on loan from Manchester United, of course. A cool-as-you-like finish, straight past Bart Verbruggen. And the Villains have the lead here. It's Brighton 0, Villa 1.
There's been a goal in the only game tonight in League 2. Notts County, MK Dons. Now's Prem G.
Notts County 1, MK Dons 0. David McGoldrick, the veteran, edge of the box, right side. He's curled one into the top corner, Steve. The cry from the home fans was, he's one of our own. Notts County 1, MK Dons 0.
In the Championship, John Eustace is at it again. Sarah Mulkerrins.
He certainly is. Well, it was a poor first half. Derby have started much the better after the break. They are leading Preston by a goal to 0. The goal coming from a corner, Preston failing to deal with it, and there was defender Craig Forsyth to collect and to sweep it in. It's Derby 1, Preston 0.
In the Scottish Championship, it is Dunfermline 1, Livingston 0, and the other live score is Queen's Park 0 Airdrieonians 3. That one is just into the second half. In fact, they're just both into the second half. In the Premier League, you've just heard about Brighton 0, Aston Villa 1. On the BBC Sport website and app, you can listen to Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 1. On 5 Sports Extra, Newcastle leading Brentford by a goal to 0. All of these in the second half, so they were 7:45 kickoffs. Manchester City 2, Leicester 0 is a later score, as is Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 0. And you are up to date. So, second half commentary to come from here at Anfield. We'll bring you some more of the day's sports news as well after the news with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good evening. President Trump's expected to begin announcing new tariffs on imports to the United States within the next few minutes. Critics say the plans could lead to a global trade war. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has more.
There's an atmosphere of expectation, just waiting to see what the details of this announcement are. Clearly, Donald Trump supporters believe that he is doing the right thing. Opponents strongly oppose a move that they believe will lead to higher prices. And I don't think there's much debate about that. I think that certainly Americans fear that the cost of living crisis is going to be made even worse.
You can hear a live audio stream of the President's speech on BBC Sounds. And Tony Livesey will have all the latest and the reaction to those plans from 10:30 here on 5 Live. A BBC journalist who travelled to Mandalay in Myanmar says there's a lack of skilled people there to cope with last week's devastating earthquake. Yugita Lamai says there's no rescue work going on at the sites of many collapsed buildings. A man has been charged with 64 offences after a major investigation into a funeral director's in Hull. Police removed 35 bodies and a quantity of ashes from legacy independent funeral directors last year. Robert Bush, who's 47, is due in court in June. Deputy Chief Constable Dave Marshall is from Humberside Police.
These charges incorporate a total of 254 individual victims. He has been bailed with conditions to appear at Hull Magistrates Court for the offences charged on Wednesday the 25th of June 2025. A 55-year-old woman arrested in July 2024 has today been released with no further action to be taken.
Airlines say that they warned Heathrow about the resilience of its power supply just 2 days before the airport had to close because of a fire at a substation. Nigel Wicking, who heads a committee of the airlines using Heathrow, says he spoke to bosses about his concerns twice last month. And Muse have scrapped a planned concert in Istanbul after the promoter insulted anti-government protesters there. Abdulkadir Özkan has described some of the demonstrations in Turkey as acts of treason, but says he's sorry for any misunderstanding.
We're Liverpool, and Liverpool's ours.
On BBC iPlayer.
If it gets out, we've got a hole in our supply lines. We'll have every flavour of mafia.
Brand new drama.
Is life good?
Life's good with you.
Why don't we just walk away? You and me.
Even if I walk away, I'm still a target.
The good life.
This city is ours.
This will end, I swear.
Watch on BBC iPlayer. This is 5 Live Sports.
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
It's goalless here at Anfield, half-time in the Merseyside derby, second half commentary on the way. We're sort of uniquely positioned here in that we're absolutely surrounded by Liverpool supporters, and as I just look behind me, they're all on their phones watching the VAR decision back again on social media. I think it's fair to say, perhaps not surprising, that they think James Tarkowski should have had a red card. I will have much more on that, I'm sure, at full time. In the meantime, another goal in the Premier League. This one's at Brighton again. James Gregg.
It is, Steve, but it is currently being checked on the screen, the VAR screen, by Stuart Atwell. I will tell you exactly what happened first. Simon Adingra at the back post after some sloppy defending from Villa, who failed to clear their lines. The Ivorian, therefore, able just to slot past Emi Martinez nicely. Like I say, being checked now for a possible handball in the build-up to that when the ball was bouncing around in the Villa box from Mitoma. At the moment, Brighton 1, Villa 1, but I will keep you updated, Steve.
Thanks, James. So VAR there, VAR here. Life is so much simpler in the Football League, Sarah Mulkerrins.
It certainly is, and it's so much simpler now in the second half for Derby because they're leading Preston by 2-0. And remember, a win tonight would move them out of the relegation zone. It's been a great start to the second half. They've just got their second ball whipped in from the left. Preston again not dealing with it in defence. There was Jerry Yates, a downward header. It bounced awkwardly in front of the Preston keeper, looped over his head and into the back of the net. It's Derby 2, Preston 0.
Remarkable run for John Eustace on their way, it looks, to 4 wins in a row. What about the only game tonight in League Two? Another goal, actually, at Notts County, Naz Premji.
Great start for the home side in the second period. Nick Sarul has made it Notts County 2, MK Dons 0. Lovely ball into the box from the left-hand side, and he was racing in and lashed home from close range. Notts County 2, MK Dons 0.
What news from Brighton then, James Gregg?
Well, it is very disappointing for the home crowd here. They are now silenced once again. The away end still very, very noisy. Brighton 0, Villa 1. I have to say, the angle they were rocking and rolling on the screens here from Mitoma's handball, it was quite clearly a handball. Not quite sure why it took as long as it did for Stuart Atwell to make that decision. However, he made it in the end, and it remains Brighton 0, Villa 1.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, Manchester City, Leicester City. Julia Bald.
It's still Manchester City 2, Leicester 0. Jamie Vardy off at the break. He's been replaced by Oliver Skipp. It feels like a training game this second half for City. Still in front by 2-0.
On 5 Sports Extra right now, you can listen to Newcastle Brentford, John Bennett.
And you'll be able to hear Newcastle on the attack as they put a shot over. Newcastle 1, Brentford 0. Alexander Isak with the only goal. The first player in Newcastle history to score 20-plus goals in back-to-back Premier League seasons. Harvey Barnes has been close second half. Newcastle 1, Brentford 0.
Is something stirring at Ipswich Town? Back to Bournemouth, Chris Wise.
Listen to those away supporters. They haven't had many days like this, and certainly not in 2025. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 2. They've soaked up some pressure in this second half, but on the counter-attack, a little 1-2 between Liam Delap and Connor Townsend. Back to Delap, probably about 10 yards out, and he has smashed it into the corner. Decisive 11th Premier League goal for him. Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 2.
Southampton really are just playing to try and avoid having the worst Premier League season of all time. Do they still lead Crystal Palace, Aaron Paul?
They do, but Palace have come close to an equaliser through Abire Eze, played in down the left by Michael Use, made a wonderful run. Eze opened up his body on his right foot, but sent the shot wide. Southampton continuing to press forward, but lacking that clinical edge in the final third as Walker Peters plays the ball in, cleared away by the head of Mark Gay. Palace still trailing here by a goal to 0.
OK, so as it stands then, that bottom 3, Southampton 12 as it stands, so that involves them winning tonight. Leicester 17. Ipswich would go up to 20, still 9 points though, behind Wolverhampton Wanderers with 8 games of the season to go. And as I say, that's only if they can go on and convert that into a victory. Other sports news, Charlotte Edwards says her players have to take responsibility for the shape that they're in after being appointed the new head coach of England women's cricket. Emma Raducanu has withdrawn from the Great Britain squad for next week's Billie Jean King Cup qualifiers in the Netherlands. She says she needs to look after her body. British number 5 Fran Jones has said that her heart had just worked a little too hard. This is after she collapsed during a match in Colombia, you may have heard. Checks have since revealed no lasting damage. Cole Palmer, Nonni Mazweki, Nicholas Jackson could all return for Chelsea against Tottenham tomorrow. Updates of that match will be on 5 Live Sport from 8 o'clock. And Manchester United women's manager Mark Skinner has signed a new contract. His deal will keep him at the club until June 2027. And you are up to date, and we are almost ready for second half commentary here at Anfield. Stephen Warnock, David Moyes will probably have felt his side could easily have been ahead. I tell you what though, he'll be delighted, won't he? Jordan Pickford's barely had anything to do.
Yeah, very well organised in the way that he set his team up, and we said what they've done differently this season. They've been able to give themselves a threat when they go forward as well, and they've certainly done that. They've had the best opportunities of the game. Beto and then Alcaraz at the end of the first half should have scored at least one of those opportunities. But from Everton's point of view, job well done so far. 45 minutes to go though.
Big boo there as James Tarkowski came sprinting out of the tunnel. A lot of Liverpool fans will feel that he should have been skulking off down it during the first half. They'll feel he should have been sent off. And I can see their point, to be honest with you. Liverpool 0, Everton 0. Second half commentary with Stephen Warnock and John Murray.
Producer Gary's just shown me a little line that Tarkowski has now received 63 yellow cards and has never been sent off in the Premier League, which apparently that's a record in the Premier League. So that is probably a record, given that you know, there are many more yellow cards now since the early 90s than there was previously. So debate rages as to whether he should have got one tonight. You were telling me, Stephen, that apparently Duncan Ferguson has said that Tarkowski should have been sent off, which is probably tells you all you need to know.
Tells you a lot, doesn't it?
It does. So there we are. Liverpool, Everton, it's 0-0. Liverpool get the second half underway. No changes at half-time. Did wonder whether Arne Slot, having made just one change to his last starting lineup, might have changed something at half-time, but no. Here's Jota, long ball over the top, takes it down, but Alcaraz is there outside of the penalty area. He might have scored late in the first half. Here's one for Beto to chase, making a nuisance of himself against Konate, but the ball bounces past them and through to Kelleher. So Liverpool with Kelleher in goal. Alisson's out because of the concussion that he suffered when he was with Brazil. Then Jones, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. Jones is the right back. Then Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai in midfield. It was McAllister who was on the receiving end of the Tarkowski tackle. And then Salah, Jota and Diaz, the front line. The Everton team unchanged from their last match. The 1-1 against Everton at Goodison before the international window. As Liverpool have possession near the halfway line. So Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikolenko, Gay, Garner and Doucouré, Harrison, Alcaraz and Beto, who hit the post with a shot in the first half. Long pass forward, comes off Tarkowski's head, and scrambling to his right, Pickford can't reach it. Full-length dive off the head of Tarkowski. It's a corner to Liverpool, who are attacking towards the Kop. So this first corner for them of the second half in front of the famous old stand, which these days is towered over by the other three sides of Anfield, all fully reconstructed over the years. McAllister to take this on this dry, clear, quite blustery night at Anfield. McAllister with the corner, right-footed, in swing to the near post. Tarkowski gets his head to it and heads it wide of his own near post. He just delivered it in there. Van Dijk was in there, and there were three Liverpool players, three Everton players, and Tarkowski headed it wide for his second consecutive Liverpool corner. The cries go up, trying to urge Liverpool to nose themselves in front. Here's the delivery from McAllister, again into that near post area. Everton head gets to it first, in amongst a crowd of players, out towards the edge of the box where Harrison was able to get it further away, but Liverpool win it back. The hard working, as ever, Luis Diaz. Diaz runs the ball to the halfway line, then sets off on a run forward, then a pass to Jones is too short, and Alcaraz has intercepted that. Alcaraz just waits, and then draws the challenge from Luis Diaz, but is able to play the pass forward. But Liverpool have got it back. Luis Diaz, but this time it's James Garner who comes across and has possession for Everton. But he's just given the ball back to Liverpool. So forward come Liverpool. It's the Reds against the Blues here at Anfield. Salah back to Gravenberch. Salah, who scored both goals when Liverpool won this match last season by 2-0. Salah 30 yards out on his left foot, square from him, square to Jota. Gakpo's on the bench tonight. Nunez, of course, as well. Gravenberch back to Szoboszlai. A buzz reverberates around the ground.
Too slow, and that's what it's about. It's just so easy for Everton side to side.
It's a low murmur, isn't it, of discontent. Jota, his ball across the penalty area. Branthwaite is there to half volley it away, but Liverpool back in possession again in the centre circle. Straight to Newcastle, a penalty, John Bennett.
Penalty for Brentford. Newcastle leading by 1-0, but Brian Mbeumo has a chance to equalise now. It was Nick Pope with a foul on Wissa, and Mbeumo steps up, sends the keeper the wrong way. Equaliser for Brentford. Newcastle 1, Brentford 1.
As Jordan Pickford takes this catch at the back post, and Everton have the ball back. So 1-1 at St James's Park. Still Bournemouth 0, Ipswich 2. It's Brighton 0, Aston Villa 1 after that Brighton goal was ruled out. Manchester City 2-0 up on Leicester. Southampton winning 1-0 against Crystal Palace. And you can follow it all tonight on 5 Live Final Score. You can listen to our commentary alongside the Final Score graphics and the video printer on the BBC iPlayer, BBC Sport app via the red button. Just click on 5 Live Final Score. Jones to Szoboszlai, halfway inside the Everton half. Gravenberch. Then to Robertson, now out to the left-hand side. Luis Diaz against O'Brien. Right-footed ball into the box, but that's headed away by Branthwaite, and it is back to Bournemouth and Chris Wise.
Where the Ipswich nerves are going to be reignited. Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2. Evan Nielsen's got the goal back. Cook's shot spilt by Alex Palmer, the Ipswich goalkeeper. Hooked in by Evan Nielsen. Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2.
Shot from the angle from Jota, but the offside flag was up against Szoboszlai, so it's a free kick to Everton inside their own half. Same pattern as the first half, Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, too slow, too laboured from Liverpool. I'm just wondering how long they're going to wait to make changes. Gakpo and Nunez on the bench, like you say, John. Harvey Elliott as well. Salah, Jota, Szoboszlai, they've been non-existent in this game.
Adri Onions now winning 4-0 at Queen's Park in the Championship as Jota tries to work it back, but Everton, Doucouré, who's covered a lot of ground tonight. Doucouré, one of the men who was sent off at the end of the match at Goodison in February. Everton coming forward. Alcaraz takes it away from Szoboszlai. He's through the middle of the edge of the box. Here's Doucouré's ball across all the way to Mikolenko. No, an important sliding challenge from Szoboszlai. Just took it away from the Ukrainian. Gay though, still Everton. Harrison just outside the box, stabs it into the D. Gravenberg's able to take it away. Salah's dispossessed by Harrison. Left foot shot hits the back of Konate, and Kelleher's able to scramble along the goal line to his left and prevent it from going out for a corner. It's still 0-0. I was saying to you before the match, Stephen, on our video for social media, that the Aintree Grand National meeting starts tomorrow, and in racing terms, Liverpool really in this title race just have to stay on their feet, but this is not ideal for them tonight. And now though, into the penalty area with Jota for Liverpool, but his shot is blocked by Tarkowski, and it's out of play on the far side for a throw to Liverpool.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all, and Arne Slot has just sent out the three aforementioned names, Gakpo, Nunez and Elliott, so the changes you would have thought will have been imminent from Arne Slot, and rightly so, because this is poor.
Gravenberg on his right foot, shoots for goal, Pickford saves, Salah on the stretch, but actually Branthwaite threw himself headlong in front of Salah, and as the ball bounced up, Branthwaite, a bit like Andy Gray all those years ago with a diving header. Totally different intent with this Everton diving header, though, to put it behind for a corner.
Really smart defending from Branthwaite. Pickford probably didn't see it until very late, palms it down in front of him, and Branthwaite reacts just before Mohamed Salah. Another corner.
Save from Pickford. Branthwaite heading it behind. Corner to Liverpool from the right. Still 0-0 here at Anfield. 5 Live, BBC Sounds as well if you're on the move tonight. McAllister, out swinger. That's headed away for Everton. Tarkowski.
As I say, you know who.
Excellent from him. Regardless of whether he should be on the field. And actually Everton sweep downfield with Harrison. And Harrison's pass doesn't find Beto. Kelleher just comes calmly out of his 6-yard box, scoops it up. Everton have got men committed downfield. They've got to get back as Liverpool find the pass to McAllister, gets it under control and shoots, but straight into the foot of Mikolenko, who's gone down injured. It's not a head injury, doesn't have to stop play, referee Barrett. Luis Diaz, Robertson's ball across, Jota controls it, shoots on the turn, that's blocked. The ball spins across the penalty area out to Doucouré, who's able to tap the ball out of play so that Mikolenko can receive some treatment. And the referee didn't stop play. And nor should he have.
No, he shouldn't, but it came from a really good block from Mikolenko. He got out to McAllister as he took his shot, and the horrible then when he hit you on the side of the ankle, it's loose and it just sends sort of a shiver down your spine. But that is an opportunity there for Diogo Jota. He turned, spun in the box, and he could have just passed it away to his right-hand side. Szoboszlai had an opportunity, chose to shoot, wasted opportunity.
So he didn't need treatment, and Liverpool, Salah obligingly throws the ball back to the Everton goalkeeper Pickford, which has not gone down terribly well behind us, as you can probably hear. Liverpool 0, Everton 0 in the Italian Cup semi-final tonight. The Milan derby, Stephen. Tammy Abraham has scored for Milan, and Milan are winning 1-0 against table-topping Inter.
Yeah, they're ninth now, aren't they, AC Milan? Struggling.
Kyle Walker's AC Milan, but that would be a big win tonight. As Liverpool have the ball inside their own half, and you can hear the disquiet here that Liverpool are not going gung-ho. Eventually it's a longish pass downfield to Salah. Salah, who's being manhandled by Tarkowski, but the offside flag is up against the Liverpool top scorer, and it's a free kick to Everton. And yeah, the players down there on the pitch, and this big crowd, 60,000 people inside Anfield, you know, there is a really unsettled feeling inside the ground. The players will feel it.
Yeah, but Curtis Jones, he's got no one in front of him for 10-15 yards, and he's looking to go back to his goalkeeper, and the Liverpool fans are saying, drive into the space, commit someone, make something happen, be positive. You can sense that these Liverpool players are really low in confidence. They're not helping themselves.
Liverpool lost their last 2 matches before the international window, very damagingly. And Gay is dispossessed by Szoboszlai. Gravenberch bringing it forward. Everton players either side of it. It bounces. The shot's deflected across. Salah pulls it back across. Defender stretch, just got a foot to it. Then Branthwaite's able to turn and clear it. And it was Mykolenko, the man in the middle, who got the crucial interception when it looked as though Everton might be opened up there. Still 0-0.
Yeah, didn't he do well, Mykolenko, to recover into that position? And it's just lifted this Liverpool crowd now.
Back to Notts County in League 2, now's Premji.
Notts County 3, MK Dons 0. Game over here. Lovely goal. This edge of the area, left-hand side. Will Jarvis, top corner. Notts County 3, MK Dons 0.
As Everton clear away again. Still got over half an hour to play here. Liverpool attacking towards the Kop in the Merseyside derby. And the pressure is increasing. Oh, what a run from Jota! What a goal! Slams it in from 12 yards. Everton are complaining. Jared Branthwaite runs to referee Barrett. But what relief inside Anfield. The opening goal in the derby against Everton. It's Jota, and it's Liverpool 1, Everton 0.
Well, for large parts of this game, Liverpool have had no composure. They've had no creativity. And the one moment they find that little bit of creativity and that little bit of composure, they open Everton up, and it's brilliant from Jota. He shifts it from his left foot, and he chops as he goes to fake the shot, and he sits the defender down, gets it onto his right foot, and he goes to pass it into the bottom right-hand corner, but Jordan Pickford almost reads that situation early, and he goes down, but this is going to be disallowed, John. He's offside, Diogo Jota, in the initial first phase of play. I don't think this will count.
Well, they don't know it yet, but clearly the players are only just getting back into position now.
John, the only thing I would say is do they think he's active in that play? Because the Everton player plays it first. It's actually Luis Diaz, and Tarkowski steps in, then Diaz comes alive, then he plays the ball, but it looks like it's been given. That's very interesting.
It has been given.
I don't agree with that, because I think Tarkowski thinks that Diaz behind him is alive, and he reacts to that situation. If Tarkowski lets it run through, Diaz touches it, he's offside. I think it's one of those situations in an offside that is so muddied.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure if Everton, surely they'll be on this now, because they'll see the pictures down on the dugout. Now I see David Moyes just going across now to the fourth official and just having a word in the ear of Darren Bond. But the goal stands. It's Liverpool 1, Everton 0, and now the mood has completely changed inside Anfield. Let's go from Merseyside back to Tyneside. John Bennett.
Party time again in Newcastle. Newcastle 2, Brentford 1. An unbelievable goal by Sandro Tonali. 10 yards away from the touchline, 10 yards away from the goal line, the tightest of angles, and somehow he found the back of the net. A brilliant goal to watch on Match of the Day later. Newcastle 2, Brentford 1.
Well, we've just had a stoppage in play here. Sam Barrett is walking the ball back sort of halfway inside the Liverpool half and putting it down for a Liverpool free kick that Van Dijk just rolls back to Kelleher.
Couldn't he have just passed it to Kelleher?
I don't know.
He walked like 15 yards.
That.
It was like, I'm in control, and watch me take control of this game. Very odd.
It was. So there's another talking point. Match of the day tonight, BBC One. You can see the pictures. Whether there should have been a question over an offside in the build-up to the Liverpool goal. However, it was well taken by Jota. Jinked his way through into the middle of the penalty area and shot in from round about 12 yards, round about the penalty spot. And that, for him, ends a run of 10 appearances for Liverpool without scoring a goal. So great relief for him, as well as for Anfield. His 9th of the season for the Portuguese. Back to Brighton, James Gregg.
Double delights here for Village. On the away end is in bedlam. Marco Asensio, a substitute who replaced the other goal scorer, Marcus Rashford, just coolly latching onto a ball, far post, unmarked, slotted it past Verbruggen to make it Brighton 0, Aston Villa 2, and it's real party time here.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford tonight scoring his first Premier League goal for Aston Villa after his first goals for the club on Sunday in the FA Cup, so that's 3 and 2 for him, and another one for Asensio as well. So Aston Villa looking ahead to next week in the Champions League as Mikalenko clears the ball away towards the far side. Luis Diaz takes it down. Still only 1-0, so it's still a precarious lead. Liverpool, who with Konate but his ball over the top, will just run away through behind for a goal kick. Liverpool on this 25-match unbeaten run in the Premier League. They've stuttered tonight, but crucially they've scored that opening goal.
Yeah, they've rode the luck a little bit in this game, but I still think there'll be a little bit of a talking point after the game if that is to settle this game. But they've struggled in front of goal. They've lacked ideas, but we saw that against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup a couple of weeks ago as well.
They did. Liverpool 1-0 up here tonight. Grand National meeting begins tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if probably thousands of the people here tonight will be at Aintree tomorrow. You'll hear coverage on 5 Live during the course of the week, and Sports Extra as well, as the ball is dinked into the penalty area. Pickford comes and makes the catch above the head of Branthwaite. Yeah, the big race is tomorrow. You'll hear commentary on 5 Live. Then we have a programme Friday afternoon on Sports Extra, live from Aintree at 2 o'clock. Updates on Chelsea-Tottenham tomorrow night in the Premier League. There's so much great live sport coming, whether it's the Premier League, Champions League, both FA Cup semi-finals, you'll hear on 5 Live. The Masters is coming up, you'll hear that on 5 Live as well, as Everton win the ball back on the halfway line. Alcaraz and Doucouré bounces away, Liverpool back to Konate, and then Konate is just knocking it back to Callaghan. Liverpool with that goal. There were clearly nerves there, and there will be until this job is done, until the title is confirmed. You'll not hear or see anyone connected to Liverpool Football Club counting their chickens until it's done.
There are nerves around Merseyside, and it's become from the last few games that they feel like they've not seen the best of Liverpool, considering how dominant they were in the first half of the season.
But if they're able to hold on to this, they'll need just 13 more points to guarantee the title, a maximum of 13 points. This weekend, Liverpool are at Fulham on Sunday. That is a 5 Live commentary match, as Liverpool have the ball on the right-hand side, as the goal scorer Jota seemed to be being tugged back by Mikalenko. The ball eventually deflected out of play. Mikalenko is going to take this throw, but
he's going to get booked here, Jota.
Yeah, he's complaining about it
too much to the referee.
And the referee. Yellow card.
Yeah.
There we are. There is the yellow card. Jota is booked, and then actually applauds that as well.
He's got to be careful there.
Well, could easily have had a red card already tonight. Over the years, there have been 33 red cards in Merseyside derbies. And we had 4 in the match at Goodison alone. Although whether the 2 for Arne Slot and Sipka Hosov actually count or not in terms of those numbers, I'm not sure. Long ball downfield for Everton, but that will just bounce all the way to Callaghan. Just a word from PGMOL on the Liverpool goal. Jota's initial position, which was offside, was not impacting the opponent or the ball, is the statement from PGMOL, which draws a slight shake of the head from Stephen Warnock as the ball is played back to Callaghan. Clears it to the halfway line, and then Jota goes down rather easily under the challenge from Tarkowski, who leaned into him, much taller man. Harrison's pass, that is importantly intercepted by the stretching leg of Van Dijk, otherwise Beto might have been away. Beto, who shot against the post in the first half. Luis Diaz now across to Szoboszlai. Little touch nice from Szoboszlai, but then McAllister gets it all wrong as he tried to flick it on, and Everton tried to bring it forward, but Jack Harrison just has the ball taken away from him by Luis Diaz. Body language not great from Harrison there. Head down. I think David Moyes, yes he is, he's going to make at least one change down there. I see that Ndiaye is actually
I can see two,
being
John.
prepared to come on. So he's only just really come back into training. Ndiaye, joint top scorer for Everton this season. Why not? You know, Everton, David Moyes, 1-0 down. Ask Liverpool some questions. And
it looks like Irabunan's going to come on as well.
Yeah. So that's going to be a double change for David Moyes. And Liverpool swinging the ball out here to the right-hand side to Salah, who allows it to bounce. He's up against Mikalenko. Mikalenko gets the foot in, but that will take it away behind for another corner to Liverpool. Another goal for Liverpool. And you'd think that would be too much for Everton to come back from. Everton, who've lost just the once so far under David Moyes in the Premier League. That was his first match back in charge against Aston Villa, although they were knocked out of the FA Cup by Bournemouth at Goodison. So it is, since his return, 2 defeats in 11 matches. McAllister to take this corner then for Liverpool, who lead 1-0. McAllister from a 45-degree angle, staring at the corner flag. Now comes in, takes this outswinger, comes off an Everton head. Beto back to McAllister, who's going to allow it just to bounce out of play for a second consecutive corner from this right side. And McAllister just placing the ball in the quadrant. Rows and rows of people in my eye line in the Kop, many of them on their feet, clapping their hands, red and white scarves around their necks. McAllister with the corner for Liverpool, but that doesn't beat the man at the near post. Mikalenko is able to get up and head it away. Gravenberch in the centre circle, Beto herring around after him, so he actually has to turn and swing the pass all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson. Then Jared Branthwaite leaning in on Jota. That's not given as a free kick. Jota's quickly back up on his feet. Jared Branthwaite's back into position. Jota on the right flank, comes in field, and then passes it back to Salah, and it's back to Gravenberch near the halfway line. Szoboszlai, James Garner comes and puts pressure on him, and then Robertson back out to Luis Diaz now on the left-hand side, and O'Brien getting as close as he can to him, the Republic of Ireland international. Gravenberch receives it from Luis Diaz. There's Szoboszlai just behind him, then Gravenberch again. Everton making Liverpool work for this. I don't think they've had a chance, have they, in the second half, Everton, that I've made a note of. So they're a long way back, but it is only 1-0. Szoboszlai is then upended by Garner, and that's a free kick 10 yards inside the Everton half. And Ndiaye's going to come on for Jack Harrison very shortly. In fact, that'll happen now. So here he comes, the return of Iliman Ndiaye, the Senegal international, after missing the last 5 matches before the international window with a knee injury. Jack Harrison leaves the pitch, slaps hands with everyone on the bench there, and takes his seat on the Liverpool, the comfortable red seats in the Liverpool dugout. So Ndiaye makes his return. He was one of the bright spots, wasn't he, in the early part of the season under Sean Dyche?
Yeah, he really was, and he picked up that injury in the reverse fixture in the Merseyside derby. I like him. I think he's a tremendous player, great ball carrier. He'll be a danger to Liverpool, especially with the space that they've been getting on counter-attacks, Everton.
As Liverpool win a free kick in the centre circle. Luis Diaz was bowled over by O'Brien, so a free kick near the halfway line. And Ndiaye's taken up a position on the left-hand side. And Inter have equalised in that Italian Cup semi-final. Çalhanoğlu has made it Milan 1, Inter 1, as Robertson passes the ball forward to And then a long ball towards the edge of the box looking for McAllister, but Branthwaite got up high. Here's Doucouré in a little bit of space in the centre circle, and Jai involved in the match for the first time, but he's forced out by Soboslai to the left-hand side. Soboslai went into the challenge on Mikalenko, but didn't actually clear the ball, so Mikalenko was able to say thank you very much. Here he is again, Mikalenko, the left back, and then in comes the challenge from Jones to put the ball out of play for a throw-in to Everton, halfway inside the Liverpool half. 1-0 Liverpool lead. What have we got left, Stephen? 20 minutes to go.
He's switched off here, Jones.
Mikalenko with the throw, Doucouré's after it, but Konate was able to get up and head the bouncing ball behind for what is Everton's first corner of the second half.
Yeah, and there's just a cheer went up behind the goal there from the Everton fans. They realise that this is their opportunity. Tarkowski, O'Brien, Branthwaite make their way into that Liverpool penalty area. O'Brien, he quite likes to wander in and around the goalkeeper, and it allows Tarkowski and Branthwaite to stay a little bit freer on the edge of the box.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. O'Brien just walks in very calmly and leans into Kelleher as Garner takes the corner, and Kelleher comes and is able to get both fists to that and deflected away beyond the far post for another Everton corner. Kelleher has had very little to do in the second half. Lots of football though this season. This is 19th appearance for the Republic of Ireland international, but Liverpool having to defend from the set piece. Everton are effective from set pieces, scored 13 of their 32 goals this season in the Premier League from set pieces. Garner with the corner over there on the far side. So right-footed outswinger. Tarkowski's near the penalty spot. Tarkowski runs away. Branthwaite's there as well. Deep one. Tarkowski heads it down. Branthwaite, Tarkowski again, back to the edge of the box. Alcaraz trying to find a position, but Liverpool quickly close him down, so Everton have to go back into the centre circle to Mikalenko. He swings a long pass forward to Tarkowski, who got a foot to it, but could only deflect it through for a goal kick. And that Everton pressure, such as it was, comes to nothing. And it remains Liverpool 1, Everton 0 here on 5 Live. We're going to go back to Bournemouth for an update from Chris Wise.
Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2. The intent and the hunger of Ipswich's players very clear to see as they try and get themselves over the line. They're 5 minutes away from a first Premier League win since beating Chelsea on the 30th of December. Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2.
What's happening over in Manchester with the champions? 2-0 up early on. Julia Bold, nothing since?
Nothing since, but Oscar Bob has returned from that leg surgery he had ahead of the season, but right now into the dying minutes, it is Manchester City 2, Leicester 0.
Thought Salah was going to be away there after he dispossessed Gay, but Everton cleared it, as they do now again through Tarkowski. Remains 1-0. Liverpool start again towards the Kop. Robertson with a cross from the left-hand side, and it was over the top of the Liverpool man. Jota in the middle, and Branthwaite had to be very careful there, which he was, and was able to deflect it wide across the goal and behind for a corner.
What a ball from Andrew Robertson into such a dangerous area. And how well did Branthwaite do at that back post to make sure that he didn't put it into his own goal, just needed the slightest of touches to put it round the back for another corner to Liverpool.
Straight to Southampton, Aaron Paul.
Is beaten in his near post. Palace have an equaliser in the first minute of 8 added on, and it's a header from Mateus França. Lerma's curved ball in. França got a head to it. It crept in at the near post. Ramsdale got a hand to it, but nothing he could do to see it trickle into the back of the net, and the fans start to leave St Mary's. Palace have got an equaliser. Southampton 1, Palace 1.
Agonising for Southampton. Liverpool with the corner. McAllister towards the penalty spot, comes off an Everton head. Tarkowski almost inevitably. Liverpool take up possession again just outside the box. Darwin Núñez is going to come on for Liverpool. That's going to be Arne Slot's first change, and the whistle goes for free kick to Everton on their edge of their own box. What was that for?
Yeah, I think it was holding from Van Dijk on Tarkowski. I don't think there was anything too much more in it. Just cuts across Tarkowski and gives him a little bit of a nudge.
Well, it's Jota, who is on a yellow card and was quite agitated at one stage. That might be a factor in this. Darwin Núñez coming on to replace him. Still just 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, I think there's also a school of thought with Jota that he can't really last 90 minutes, and if he goes over a certain sort of time period in around 70 minutes, then he starts to fatigue, and that's where he picks his injuries up. So it's a change that they've made quite often, Liverpool.
So Darwin Núñez races onto the field, scored in the last home match, the win against Southampton, when Salah scored a couple of penalties. It's been quietish tonight, Salah.
I'd say more than ish. He has been non-existent. He hasn't done anything in this game. He had a header in the first half, which was very tame, but Liverpool fans have been asking for a big game from him in recent weeks, and he certainly hasn't provided them. He's been very quiet since for the last probably month or so.
1-0 Liverpool lead, 15 minutes to play, and David Moyes is getting now a triple change ready. Broja, Ashley Young, and it looks as though we will now see Irebunam. He was going to bring Irebunam on earlier when Ndiaye came on, but I think it will be a triple change this time. 15 minutes to play. Everton in the relatively luxurious position that they're in, 17 points above the bottom three. When David Moyes took over, or indeed when Sean Dyche left the club, they were just 1 point above the relegation zone. 17 points now. That is an indication of the improvement that there's been under David Moyes' management. But he's losing here at Anfield again. Liverpool 1, Everton 0. Full-time whistles going in those 7:45 kickoffs. Back to Julia Bold in Manchester.
Yeah, it's finished Manchester City 2, Leicester 0. Jack Grealish set up in the opening 2 minutes, then Mads Hermansen spilling the ball on 29 minutes to allow Omar Mamouche to pounce and double that lead. Leicester had nothing at all. City up to 4th. It's finished Man City 2, Leicester 0.
In League 2, Notts County winning well. Now's Premji.
Notts County 3, MK Dons 0. County moved to within 2 points off the top 3 into 4th. David McGoldrick, a curler from the right. Nick Cerula, a smart finish from close range, and Will Jarvis with a curler from the left. MK Dons never at the races. Notts County 3, MK Dons 0.
More full times coming very shortly, but Everton now going to make these changes. Liverpool winning 1-0 here. 5 live from the BBC. James Garner, the first player coming off. So Irebunam, the summer signing from Aston Villa, will take his place. Number 42 coming on into the Everton midfield, and the other players coming off. Beto will make way for Broja, and Alcaraz will be replaced by Ashley Young, who is just waiting there on the side of the pitch. Ashley Young, who was sent off here last season in that 2-0 Liverpool win. Ashley Young, 40 in July, Stephen.
Yeah, incredible longevity that Ashley Young has had in his career, been an absolute model professional, but to still be playing at this level is quite incredible. It's testament to his profession and how dedicated he is.
And here is the final change, Armando Broja. He's another one of those players. He's on loan, isn't he, from Chelsea, but has barely played really with the injuries that he's had this season. A foot injury, the latest of them, so he comes on. I thought he looked bright when he came on for Albania against England.
Yeah,
but he just hasn't been on the field enough.
No, he hasn't, not at all. And I think that's the issue when you sign a player like that. You need him fully fit, and bit part player that's what his season's been so far. It'd be disappointing for Everton when they bought him. John, I was just laughing at the fourth official there, trying to get the board up. You need to get a new system when you're making 3 or 4 substitutions at a time.
Yeah, it always does prove quite a challenge, that. 1-0 Liverpool lead. Going to go back to Newcastle in a moment. The full-time whistle has gone there. In fact, let's do that now as Liverpool go back towards the halfway line. John Bennett.
I saw 2 Brentford won, but Brentford so close to equalising. Sharda forcing a save from Nick Pope. They're pushing again. They've won a corner. Newcastle 2, Brentford 1.
Still playing there. We've got 10 minutes plus added time to play here in the Championship in Scotland. Remarkable win for Airdrieonians, bottom of the table this morning. 5-0 at Queen's Park. And Neil Lennon's Dunfermline have won 1-0 against Livingston. Those full-time scores. Next live football commentary Friday night when England play Belgium in the Women's Nations League. That's live from Bristol City on Friday night. And then the Grand National is part of 5 Live Sport on Saturday afternoon. You're going there, aren't you, to Aintree with Mark Chapman?
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah,
as part of the early part of the programme.
Hopefully the weather is as it's been over the last few days.
Yeah, but stacks of Premier League commentary coming up on 5 Live over the weekend. Szoboszlai, ball from the right-hand side. That's intercepted by Branthwaite. 5 Live, the place to hear Liverpool's match at Fulham on Sunday afternoon as Everton clear it away into the centre circle. Van Dijk. It's going to be a hard-fought win, if it is to be a win, this, for Liverpool in the Premier League this season. Since they lost here 1-0 against Nottingham Forest, in every Premier League match they've played here, they've scored at least 2 goals. But Everton have certainly made them work here tonight. Salah to Szoboszlai. And then again, the two of them, well, actually lose it to Irabunum, who can only run the ball out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool. Sums it up, really.
It does. I mean, it's a 2- and 3-yard pass from both Salah and Szoboszlai, and they get it horribly wrong. It's a 2v1 situation. You should be so calm in that position, but so often they're getting it wrong today, Liverpool.
Full-time at Bournemouth, Chris Wise.
And the Tractor Boys have got the motor started again. Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2, a long overdue 4th Premier League win of the season for Ipswich. Broadhead just after the half hour, Delap bang on the hour. Evan Nielsen got one back for Bournemouth. 4 straight home Premier League defeats for them. Ipswich back to within 9 of safety. Bournemouth 1, Ipswich 2.
Robertson to Nunez, then to Diaz. Diaz shot, that's blocked by Tarkowski. The shouts there that Tarkowski might have been fouled by O'Brien, but Luis Diaz might have been fouled by O'Brien, but Tarkowski was in position to clear it away on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Yeah, I think when it ricocheted, I think they wanted handball, the Liverpool fans, but plays on the ground, it's never going to be a handball in that situation. He can't move his body or adjust himself when he's on the floor.
Great initial pass from Robertson, though, there.
It was a beautiful pass, wasn't it? Splitting the lines into Darwin Nunez. He was aware of where Diaz was. I thought Diaz should have laid it on a plate for Szoboszlai, though.
Konate, long pass for him. Tarkowski just did enough against Nunez, and the ball bounced through into the gloves of Pickford. Full-time at St Mary's, so not to be a win for Southampton. We will go there in a moment, but there has just been a late goal at Brighton. James Gregg.
Game, set and match in the 100th minute. Brighton 0, and a very impressive, I must say, John, Aston Villa 3 now. Donyell Marlon at the far post, cool cross straight across the body of Verbruggen. He's had a tough night of it. Villa have been brilliant. The away end very happy indeed. Brighton 0, Villa 3.
Cross from the left from Mikalenko, but Breuer on the stretch rather laboured, could only head it well wide, and it's a goal kick to Liverpool, who continue to lead through that Diogo Jota goal. The goal scorer has since been substituted. We can now go to Southampton for the full-time news from Aaron Paul.
Southampton won, Crystal Palace won. The Saints up to double figures in terms of points, but they couldn't hold on to a lead following Paul Onuachu's excellent first half header. The Palace equaliser came very late in the day. França with a header from Lerma's cross. They remain 10 unbeaten on the road. Southampton 1, Palace 1.
And it is over on Tyneside. John Bennett.
Newcastle 2, Brentford 1. Newcastle up to 5th thanks to a moment of magic from Sandro Tonali outside the box. Tight angle, almost hugging the touchline. Somehow he beat the keeper. Brentford had equalised with an Mbeumo penalty after Isak's first half stoppage time opener. Newcastle, though, with a win that takes them into the Champions League spots. Newcastle 2, Brentford 1.
Very good win for Newcastle, that, Stephen, in the circumstances. Eddie Howe will be thrilled with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, riding the crest of the wave, aren't they, and making sure that they make the most of that Carabao Cup final win. It's all about momentum now, and I spoke before about what can it do. Well, it can spur you on, it can push you over that line that you're so desperately trying to achieve. Champions League football.
In the Championship, another win for Derby. Sarah Mulkerrins.
It's ended Derby 2, Preston 0. 4 wins in a row for John Eustace, and for the first time since his opening match in charge 6 weeks ago, they are outside of the relegation zone. 2 quick-fire goals early in the second half from Craig Forsyth, and Jerry Yates saw them through while Preston stay 14th. It's ended Derby 2, Preston 0.
Going to go to Brighton in a moment, but Liverpool searching for the second goal that would finish this off. Luis Diaz on the edge of the area. Still Luis Diaz works it here to Curtis Jones, right side of the box, 2 defenders with him, keeps possession, plays it to Salah, then Szoboszlai back outside the box, Jones with a shot, that's blocked by Idrissa Gueye, who threw himself in front of the path of the shot, and then is fouled by Jones, and it's a free kick to Everton. And we can get the full-time news on Brighton Aston Villa from James Gregg.
Well, Brighton 0, Aston Villa 3 is how it finishes between these two Champions League chasers. Marcus Rashford's revivification continues. A first Premier League goal for him in the Villa colours, a cool finish on the break. Marco Asensio replaced him, he scored the second, and then later on Donyell Malen with his first for the club. Those three plates, the Cup, the Champions League and the Premier League, still very much spinning from a Unai Emery standpoint. Brighton fall behind Villa in the table, 8th and 7th they are now. Full-time then here at the Amex, Brighton 0 and a very deserved Aston Villa 3.
Here at Anfield, Cody Gakpo comes on for the final 5 minutes of the match, replacing Luis Diaz, who's got a very warm ovation as he leaves the field.
Yeah, he works so hard, doesn't he, Diaz? He's worked relentlessly down that left-hand side, and I think when you think about him trying to take on O'Brien, it's been a really good battle. I think the only side of Luis Diaz's game is just that final ball. That's a late challenge as well.
Yeah, as Branthwaite is being chased by Nunez, and that's a little short. Nunez has worked it across. Pickford actually caught Nunez there, played it across the penalty area, and the ball rolls right across the goal. But bearing in mind Jordan Pickford's history, when he... Do you remember when it was his challenge that caused the serious knee injury to Virgil van Dijk? The two of them have clattered together. I mean, Pickford had every right to go for that. Pickford now has walked across to Nunez, who's rolled off the pitch. But Nunez is still just off the pitch there, still down. The referee's come to have a look at him. The medical people are very quickly round. And Nunez, I think he's going to be all right. He's rolled back onto the pitch now, and now
he's rolled back on so he can get treatment so the game slows down.
And then O'Brien, leaning over him, tried, I think, to pick him up, and he reacted quite angrily to that. And initially it was that late challenge. The late challenge down the field on Szoboszlai, who was left on the ground, and Jordan Pickford was in discussions with Cody Gakpo. It all looks fairly friendly. And Pickford's suggesting that he's also taken a bang on the leg there. Would pick your bonds out of that, Stephen?
He hasn't. He's clattered into Darwin Nunez, and he's missed the ball completely. Kicked through him, kicked into his shin, and I think he's very fortunate that the whistle had gone. Darwin Nunez is furious here with Jordan Pickford. Pickford's trying to... And now he's just booked Darwin Nunez, which is a major surprise. I'm not so sure what that's all about.
I presume that's for the way that he rolled back onto the field.
Yeah, possibly.
I guess the referee probably said to Nunez, you have to stay off the field since you're on the field. And Nunez now is trying to whip the crowd up down there. And yellow card for Nunez. And then also, the players now going to resume back down the pitch where Szoboszlai was fouled. So the free kick was given for the foul on Szoboszlai, so the whole of the action that followed that actually came after the whistle had gone.
Yeah, I think when you're a referee in the middle of the park, you've got to have a strong personality. I think the game's been a little bit too much for Sam Barrett tonight. I really do. I think he's made some poor decisions in the game. You can hear it within the crowd. You can also see it from the players as well.
But as was proven, Ndiaye is shoved over by Szoboszlai. In fact, it's a throw-in. That is not given as a free kick. I think as we discovered at Goodison Park, when Michael Oliver had a difficult night, these are not easy matches to referee.
No, they're not, but that's what I'm saying, John. You need a strong personality in there, someone who is going to be able to make those big decisions, who can compose himself and not get drawn into what the crowd are asking.
Well, the stewards are beginning to take their positions. We're in the 90th minute here, 5 Live. Tony Livesey will be on air from 10:30 tonight. I'm conscious that Donald Trump is making that big speech as well on tariffs tonight, so we'll have more on that once we've rounded everything up on the football, and of course much more with Tony from 10:30 tonight. Match of the day on BBC One 5 Live Football Daily podcast will be a bumper edition with all of these matches. Throw in for Everton, trying to find a late equaliser. Heard that before somewhere. Mikalenko's ball into the Liverpool box, comes out for to the left-hand side for Everton. Breuer was there but was in an offside position. After the initial ball from Njai into the box, it bounced to Breuer, but he was offside. The flag was up. Need to mention as well, Chomiti came onto the field as well when when Everton made those changes. 6 minutes of added time we are into now, Stephen. It's been a grind, hasn't it, this?
It has, it really has. For Liverpool have struggled and Everton have just kept themselves in the game, and dare I say it, they've kept themselves in it like they did at Goodison Park as well, so they'll still feel like they can pinch something out of this game. Wonder what Arne Slot is going to do now. He's just brought Endo back to the bench. Is he going to bring him on just to add a little bit more steel?
Yes, as Van Dijk wins a header and is given a throaty cheer for that. O'Brien's pass forward, but that hits Robertson, bounces out of play. Yusuf Chomiti on the field for only his second appearance for Everton this season because of the injury problems that he's had, coming on for Doucouré. Branthwaite. Now here's Mikalenko on the left-hand side. Mikalenko with the cross into the Liverpool box. Van Dijk heads it away, comes out to Idrissa Gueye, gets it down. Remember how Everton equalised in the 8th minute of added time at Goodison. In comes the ball. Van Dijk's able to clear it away for Liverpool. Nunez back to McAllister. Here's one for Gakpo to chase, but Branthwaite will comfortably get there first and passes the ball infield. Irabunum then has to turn, which he does, to take it away from Szoboszlai. Again, the anxiety's rising in the Liverpool stands. Endo waiting to come onto the field. Pass forward that Chomiti can't bring down, couldn't control it, just bounced off his foot and through for a goal kick. Liverpool continue to lead 1-0.
Yeah, just a little bit heavy there from Mikalenko into the pass of Chomiti, but Liverpool forced him into that pass, putting him under pressure. And here is that change, John. Endo now coming on the field, and we talked about him being quiet. He's been very, very quiet in this game, Mohamed Salah. It's not a surprise to see him leave the pitch.
No, it's not. Yeah, the body language, he looks a little frustrated as he leaves the field. Gets a slap on the back from Arne Slot. All of the coaches and the staff gather round him. Takes a tracksuit top, sits down. 3 matches without a goal. 3 big matches without a goal. Second leg against Paris Saint-Germain, the cup final, and then the Merseyside derby.
Yeah,
and he's not at his best.
No, he's not at all, and 3 matches where he's not been creative and he's not really seen many opportunities fall his way. I think the one was the Paris Saint-Germain game early on where he probably should have scored. I remember Mendes getting that block in off his thigh, probably from about 5 or 6 yards out, but should have done better. But apart from that, the cup final, he was really poor. And then tonight, he's not been at the races whatsoever.
By modern standard, it's been a bit of an ugly game tonight, hasn't it?
That's polite.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was that polite.
No, I think it's been really poor.
Free kick.
That's often the case in a big game.
Yeah, well,
like
it
this.
is. Yeah, Merseyside derby, this has always been the case. Always been the case. Ball headed away by Liverpool. Could yet have another grandstand finish. It is only 1-0. Ashley Young, left-footed ball into the box. It's gone a long way. It was hooked away. Hooked away brilliantly by Curtis Jones as he clears it downfield. It hits the referee, so that'll be an uncontested drop ball.
I've got to say, Ashley Young has got his hands on his head, and I can see why. He thinks he's picked out Jared Branthwaite at the back post, and it's not for it was just because of Curtis Jones as being alive, seeing that back post space, alert, gets his left foot up and just makes sure that he hooks the ball away from Branthwaite. And just on our monitors in front of us now, Trent Alexander-Arnold with a big grin on his face because he knew how important that was from Curtis Jones.
Yes, Alexander-Arnold not involved tonight because of the injury that he picked up here in the second leg against Paris Saint-Germain, and so missed the Carabao Cup final. Liverpool closing in on a hard-fought 1-0 win. McAllister, that's given away. Idrissa Gueye through the middle. Breuer now, the Albanian international, turns, takes it on. He's got Liverpool players either side of him. Breuer still waiting for his first goal for Everton, actually plays it back for Branthwaite, who's going to join the attack. David Moyes points the way forward for his team on the edge of the coaching area. Then the cross is deflected wide from Njai, came off Szoboszlai, and Everton have a late corner. Alarm bells ringing. We did have a chorus just a moment ago from the Liverpool supporters of like a team that's going to win the Football League. But Everton have got designs on an equaliser, and Pickford is coming up. Pickford has come all the way up into the Liverpool penalty area. We are in the 5th minute of added time. Corner from the left-hand side for Everton. Lots of movement in the box. In it goes. Kelleher has after it. Pickford jumped for it, and then it was deflected away by the Liverpool goalkeeper, who was fouled. Might even have been fouled by Pickford, and it's a free kick to Liverpool in their own 6-yard box.
Yeah, he's done really well under pressure a couple of times now. Kelleher decided not to catch things. He's just opted to punch. And this time he opts to punch again. He got a really good punch at it at the back post, cleared it, but as you say, John, was also clattered in the process.
Confidence rising now with 30 seconds to play. Liverpool with those 2 defeats in their last 2 matches, but this would be a 4th win in a row in the Premier League, we should underline. It would take them back 12 points clear at the top of the table with 8 matches to play, and I think the final whistle is going to go any moment. Any moment. Still we play. Jones, important interception from him a few moments ago. His pass forward, that's headed away by O'Brien. It's Liverpool attacking. That's where Arne Slot wants the ball to be. And then the shot from Nunez flashes away across the face of goal and behind. And I make it, we are into the 7th minute of added time. This should be it. Arne Slot is telling the players they're nearly there. Looks like it's going to be another defeat for David Moyes on his return here as the Everton manager. Pickford waiting to take the goal kick. I think this is going to be the final play of the match. Smoke bombs go off in the Kop, and that is to celebrate a narrow win in the Merseyside derby here. They've had to fight for this tonight, but they've won it, and they've edged a little closer to that 20th title. Back to 12 points clear. They've beaten Everton by 1 goal to 0. Diogo Jota's goal in the second half. Stephen Warnock.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty from Liverpool, but it didn't have to be. The one thing that they needed to do was win at all costs and make sure that they got the 3 points. They've done that. It was a really disappointing game in terms of quality. Liverpool won't care. Everton came here, they made themselves hard to beat. They probably should have been a couple of goals up at half time.
Thanks everyone.